What about the World Cup? Is the US of A ready for the World Cup? I went out with producer Luke and assistant producer Joe in the streets of Lower Manhattan yesterday, and we kind of gauged the feeling. You lot ready for this?
I think the country will probably be most into it right in the group stage, because that's probably when we're going to do the best, unfortunately. You know, I think there are great soccer towns in America. I'm not sure New York is one of them.
Not that much this year, to be honest. With the Knicks in the finals, I think that's taken the attention of the city.
It doesn't sound like they're buying tickets, so, I mean, only so much. Yeah. I mean, they're not really buying into it. Did they not sell out the first game? Is that what I heard?
I don't follow soccer that much, so no. And then as a person that lives here, it's going to be quite disruptive for us. So, you know, but hey, should be a good event, hopefully.
Yeah, I think it's at MetLife Stadium, so there's a lot of attraction there. You know, the Giants play there, the Jets play there, so there's going to be a lot of people flying in from overseas to check out the games for sure. Yeah.
So it's the biggest World Cup ever. Might it be the best World Cup ever?
I hope so. Yeah. I mean, right now it's just Knicks, you know, but we'll get to the World Cup when we get there.
Gotta watch something. Gotta support everybody.
Okay, and the USA are in it. Obviously, they're one of the host nations.
But we ain't gonna win.
No? Who'll win it?
More likely gonna be Spain.
Yeah, probably. How's Birmingham, Alabama?
Hot, mosquitoes, a lot of loud talking people.
Birmingham, Alabama. Wow, as the song goes.
That's where you can say howdy, y'all.
Howdy, y'all. I'll remember that next time when I'm down in that part of the world. Do you think this place is ready for it?
Yeah, I've been around.
talkSPORT. Sports updates brought to you by Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Here for it. Book now at enterprise.co.uk.
For the headlines at 2 minutes past 4, I'm Tom Clayton. Good afternoon. Could the empty seat bug strike England at the World Cup? Last night, hundreds of seats were vacant for the South Korea v Czechia game, and it's been revealed hundreds of tickets remain unsold for England's opener against Croatia next Wednesday. The lowest price per ticket is around £650. You can't make it to Dallas. You can hear the match live on talkSPORT. Meanwhile, will the words of Jude Bellingham have an effect on team morale? He says players need love while on international duty and admits they got the mood in the camp wrong in Euro 2024. But the Brighton boss and talkSPORT pundit Fabian Hertzler reckons Thomas Tuchel's changed all that.
I think he brought the culture back. He brought this togetherness, this connection on the field back. I really see a structure. I really see good connections between the players, between the different parts of the team.
And amid all the talk of love, the former USA goalkeeper Brad Friedel reckons something else is more important.
What you need is to be respected by your teammates, be respected by the coaching staff, and then respect the others because they have the same sporting morals that you do. That's what you need.
Meanwhile, good news for Scotland. Scott McTominay is back in team training. He missed yesterday's session after falling ill. Scotland face Haiti on Sunday at 2 a.m, live on talkSPORT. And the Ipswich Town Chief Exec Mark Ashton has told talkSPORT Kieran McKenna instigated talk of stepping away weeks ago. McKenna says he's taking a break from football after 5 years at Portman Road.
Look, this job is tough, particularly when we've been working at the pace we've had. And I said, look, just go away and think about it. He did, and we continued dialogue consistently. And it just became apparent that he was genuinely ready to step back for a period and take a break.
Get more at talksport.com.
talkSPORT News.
Elon Musk is on the verge of becoming the world's first trillionaire, and the PM's hit back on the defence spending route. Sinead has more in half an hour.
talkSPORT weather, brought to you by Burger King Burger Buddies. Iconic winners, delivered in the box, every time. Order now on the BK app.
Largely cloudy in the south with a few spots of drizzle, a few spells of sunshine in the north. There's some showers in the northeast of Scotland.
This is World Cup Game Day live on talkSPORT with me, Rory Jennings and Darren Bent. Coming up today, we'll look back on a busy first day at the World Cup as we saw 3 red cards in the opener. Off the back of that, we'll be asking whether suspensions are too harsh at major tournaments, and we're going to hear from Jude Bellingham on the love that England players get. Do they get enough love? Do we treat them unfairly? We'll also get Jude Bellingham's thoughts on Jordan Henderson and what he brings to the camp. And we'll get all the latest from the Scottish camp as they build up to their opener against Haiti this weekend. All of that, plus Crookie joins us from Dallas, and we'll check in on Adrian Durham ahead of talkSPORT's live commentary of Canada versus Bosnia. This is Drive on talkSPORT, and you can get involved. 03717 223344. Now, let's round up the latest World Cup action on talkSPORT, brought to you by Enterprise Rent-A-Car.
Daily Tournament Roundup on talkSPORT. Brought to you by Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever it is, we're here for it.
Benny, how are you?
Yeah, not bad. Honestly, I thought it was going straight in, no chat.
Very well. No, there's always room for a bit of chat. How's everything been going? You got World Cup fever?
I have been, to be fair, watching Mexico last night. I enjoyed that. I'm not going to lie to you, I completely forgot that the next game was on. The South Korea, which I then watched the extended highlights this morning, and boy, did they play well, South Korea. Yeah. So, I'm good. I'm looking forward to it. World Cup fever is well and truly hit, and good to go.
Absolutely. Now we're going to have a look back on all of yesterday's action.
And a red card's been shown, and the Mexican captain has been dismissed. Well, a real twist in the tail for them. Cesar Montes, it's the 3rd red card of the opening game, and that's it. It's a win for Mexico.
They've got the job done. Whether it was 11v9, 10v9, it was a 2-0 win, and they move on. And I genuinely think they can win every game and win the group and stay in Mexico in the knockout rounds.
That's right, the World Cup got off to a dramatic start as 3 red cards were shown during Mexico's 2-0 win over South Africa. The players concerned will now be suspended for their second group game. Benty, we need to talk about this. We need to talk about, firstly, the severity of the punishment for a red card, and also the fact that so many were dished out. Like, just by comparison, just so you know, we had 3 in the opening game. In the entire Qatar tournament, there were 4 red cards.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's a bit bizarre. The first one's a red card. He's going through, a little bit clumsy, takes him down. It's a red card. The one that I found a bit bizarre was the last one. Now, I thought, and the last one was for the Mexico defender, right? I thought they maybe sent him off because he had no attempt of playing the ball. So that's why I thought he got sent off. But even that, I thought was a bit harsh. I've got no issues with the punishment because red card's a red card.
Do you think it should be? When you think about what a World Cup means to footballers quite often don't ever get to play in a World Cup. If you do get to a World Cup, you may only play 3 games.
Yeah.
For what is potentially an accident, you end up missing one of those games.
I understand what you're saying, but I just think we're trying to change it again too much, trying to change football, the punishments and all that, trying to complicate it. No, if it's a red card, it's a red card, just suspended. Trust me, if FIFA want to do anything about it, they'll just change the rules anyway. So it makes
do you reckon it's too harsh? Look,
I don't. I think I like football the way it is. If you get sent off, you're banned.
Do you think?
You're 100%.
But you know, if you think about that fixture, that South African fixture in particular, it wasn't malicious. It was just a late tackle. He's now going to be banned from one of the 3 games.
Yeah, but many World Cups, many league games, many cup games, we've seen people make late challenges and get sent off and miss big games in major tournaments. So I've got no issue with it. I think the punishment is the punishment, and it is what it is. And again, the last one for the Mexico, I get it. First of all, I didn't think he was the last man, but I genuinely thought that they've sent him off because there was no genuine attempt to play the ball. But even that was harsh. I'm trying to rack my brains for the second one. The slap to the face.
Yeah.
That one could
be considered
either
violent conduct, right? Yeah. That could be considered. I wouldn't necessarily consider that violent conduct, but it could be.
It could go either way. But I didn't think the last one for Mexico was a red card. Just think, come on.
Yeah, that's
bookings will suffice.
That's the problem. You also get a 1-game suspension for 2 yellow cards in the group stage. Do you think that's right? So you get booked in the first 2 games. You're missing the third game.
I think the moment you come out of the groups, then all bookings should be expunged. I think you go back to 0.
Yeah.
When you get out
no, that does happen. That is how it works for the groups. But if you get booked in the first game, booked in the second game, you're going to be banned from the 3rd game in the group. Do you think that's correct? I feel like it's all so serious.
I feel like 2 bookings is maybe a little bit harsh to ban someone just for 2 bookings, but red card's different. But 2 bookings maybe is a little bit.
See, I'm with you when it's violence. If it's violent conduct, I think that you should be banned. My issue with it is these World Cups are so precious. These footballers have worked their entire lives to get to a position where they're representing their nation at a World Cup. They make 2 bad tackles. It doesn't have to be malicious. It doesn't have to be... It could just be a mistake, just missed time challenges. Suddenly, you're missing one of those games.
That's football fear.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah, it does feel very harsh to me. But ultimately, they are the rules. They are the rules, I guess.
I think too often we're trying to look at too many... We're trying to micromanage football, and I think that's been the problem when they're talking about VAR coming in for corners and certain decisions, and it's just all a bit much. I think, listen, you get red card. Since football started, that's always been the way. Red card banned.
Yeah.
It was just harder back in the day to get a red card.
Yeah, that's true. And I think that's the problem now. If we're going to be dishing out red cards in the way that we did in that first game, we're going to see a lot of players banned from a lot of football games.
Yeah. I mean, the tolerance line now is so minimal that, again, and that's why I go back to that last one for Mexico. I've seen so many of those challenges, and I think a booking would have been more than perfect.
Do you think they're setting the tone? Do you think that was the point? In that first game, set the tone. This will be the standard that we expect from the players. This will be the conduct that we expect. And therefore, hopefully, from their perspective, what happens next is that players...
I think they burned a rod for their own back now. When you start dishing out red cards, and again, I'm going to kind of reiterate, the first one, red card for me, the guy's in on goal. It's clumsy, but it's a red card. The second one, slap in the face, could go either way. And the last one for me just wasn't a red card. But they've made a red for their own back now, because any kind of decisions that are even remotely close to that needs to be the same punishment, needs to be the same outcome. And when you dish out 3 in the first game, it is a little bit like, whoa, okay, here we go.
Yeah, did you enjoy it though? First game, did you get a buzz for the World Cup?
I didn't watch any of the build-up, although I like Shakira. I didn't watch any of the build-up, but I watched the game and then forgot that South Korea was playing, but then watched that this morning. But I loved it. I mean, South Korea, by the way,
they knock it about nicely. Fizz it about, don't they?
They play some nice stuff. They do quick energy as well. But Son was a little bit reckless in front of goal considering his standards, but no, the World Cup's well and truly here. But just to see, even Raul Jimenez's, there was a moment last night where Raul Jimenez scores his goal. He looks like he's in tears, and then they pan to the crowd, and this one guy's got his iPhone out, recording himself, his own reaction when the goal goes in, and he starts crying.
Yeah,
it was just like so much passion and energy. I really liked.
See, that's what the World Cup is, though, isn't it? Like, you know when you think about like moments from World Cups in the past, I feel like that Raul Jimenez moment. You know when he scores and he just couldn't stop crying. Like he just hits the deck, he's crying. You can see how much it means to him scoring a goal. If you're Mexican in the Azteca, it must feel like
first World Cup goal as well.
First World Cup goal
at 35 years old.
The beauty of it, isn't it? Like I've seen great scenes as well. I've seen great scenes of the fans all coming together, like drinking together. Like,
that's funny though. There's a Fulham fan in the office. He's so cynical. He's like, I've been waiting for Raul Jimenez to do that for us all season. Yeah. Honestly, shocking, man.
That is shocking.
Man, had a great moment. That's what he said. He's like, I've been waiting for him to do that all season for us.
That is absolutely shocking. But that was a roundup of all the latest World Cup action on talkSPORT, brought to you by Enterprise Rent-A-Car. They're here for it.
Daily Tournament Roundup on talkSPORT. Brought to you by Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Here for it. Book now at enterprise.co.uk.
Do you know I need to keep doing? I need to keep checking the fixtures, man, because I feel like I'm missing out.
Yeah, they're coming thick and fast, aren't they?
Even when
times.
I woke up today, I thought, right, what are we working with today? And at that very moment, internet goes down, but it's not a problem. We can get it back. But yeah, it's one of them where, so we've got Canada
today.
Yeah,
Canada, Bosnia.
8 o'clock. And then you have to go early morning before you miss it. Hold on, no, you're right.
Yeah, Canada, Bosnia is the big one today.
Yeah.
Yeah, feeling good about that?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to watching Canada, actually.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to watching Canada.
Could be very interesting. Right, next we do want to hear from you. Are red card suspensions far too harsh in major tournaments? Let me know if you have some strong feelings on this. 03717 223344. This is World Cup Game Day live on talkSPORT with myself, Rory Jennings and Darren Bent.
Locking on back in the UK, of course, and we're right across the lot. We mentioned earlier that Martin O'Neill has been installed at Celtic. Just in the passing, you're pleased for him. 1-year deal, Simon.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think Martin, the only person that would have talked him out of that circumstance is Martin. So I think probably Martin would do a 1 with a rolling year.
Yeah.
So that puts him in a situation where you can see how he feels in a year's time. I don't even know why it was a conversation. I don't even know why it was a debate about whether Martin O'Neill should stay in place. I think it's the least they could have offered him. I hope they've remunerated him properly, and I hope that he continues to build on his legacy, because I like him. Now, obviously, I don't know where you sat on it. I think I know where you sat on it. Nobody wanted Celtic to win besides Celtic fans, because we wanted Hearts to win.
Well, that would have been the story, yeah.
Yeah.
But the Celtic story was a great one, too.
Martin did his job.
Yeah.
I mean, he did his job. He went in there and he galvanised Celtic. And so the discussion about whether Martin O'Neill should be given a new contract perplexed me. Besides the fact he kept on telling everyone how bloody knackered he was.
Actually, Brad Friedel's with us, as he will be here in New York. Brad, whatever happened to Wilfred Nancy? Do we know? He came back here with his tail between his legs, having been a major flop in his short time in charge at Celtic.
I'll tell you, it very similar. I came over here and I was the head coach of New England Revolution. I found it very difficult to go from the professionalism of the Premier League this way. I couldn't wrap my head around it. I was too stubborn to stay in my own professionalism. I wouldn't adapt to where the level of MLS was.
Steve Nick was there for a while as well, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was there before, and then Jay Heaps, and then myself.
And Paul Marion as well.
I think what Wilfred did, he adapted to the US culture, and he went over there. When you go to a club like Celtic and you hear his first interview, I don't care about the results, it's how we play. No. Results matter, and the fans will actually put up with you playing poorly if you're winning the matches for a certain amount of time. So I think he found that change going to that type of club very, very difficult.
Yeah.
With Martin, I played for Martin for 2 years at Villa. He's the boss. He knows what he's doing. When I first got there, it was the first time I had met him and knew him other than playing against him. He's quirky in how he runs the club, but then there's always a moment when a manager really sets that I'm the boss. And we had a meeting one day, and he knew everything that was going around the training ground. He knew what John Carew had done 2 months ago in there, and he had known what Gabby Bonlauer was doing. He knew how to.
Hello, I'm Matt Forden from talkSPORT. This is How to Win the World Cup.
This is the best squad I think England have ever had.
He used to love America, now he doesn't. It's very sad.
It was so important to succeed because of all the pressure we received.
Don't jump for this one, I'm going to knock his head off.
Warning, this podcast does not guarantee England will actually win anything.
You are listening to World Cup Game Day live on talkSPORT with me, Rory Jennings and Darren Bent. Brought to you by Burger King Burger Buddies. Total tournament satisfaction delivered by the experts. Order now on the BK app. Still to come, we'll be joined by Kevin Hatchard for a special World Cup edition of Drive Worldwide. But just quickly, Newcastle United's Lewis Hall is reportedly interested in a move to Manchester United. And sticking with Manchester United, they're set to beat Arsenal to the signing of Mateus Fernandes from West Ham. And talkSPORT's USA correspondent Ben Jacobs has been speaking to Executive Director of the White House Task Force for the World Cup, Andrew Giuliani. And he asked him about Omar Artan, the referee banned from entering the country.
Looking at it, he's the only referee, he's the only official, not Iranian official, that has been banned from coming into the country for this tournament. He was talking to some bad people very recently about actions here in the United States. I'll leave it at that. I know CBP has made a statement on it. What I can tell you from my standpoint, and having seen the information on what he was doing, was I stand by CBP's decision. It was the right decision. What President Trump has been clear on is he wants to welcome the world that wants to enjoy the World Cup, that wants to participate and be a great part of this World Cup here to the United States of America during this incredible tournament. But he's not going to let the guys of a soccer tournament come in and give bad actors a potential opportunity to take action in the United States.
So you're saying the official, according to your information, has ties to terrorism, even though he claims he had a valid US visa?
Yeah, and I think, again, I go back to what CBP ultimately has said about this. I'm sure there'll be more information that will come out. What I'll say is, from my seat, it was absolutely the right decision, and I stand by it.
Can I ask you about ticket prices? Many in America and sports tourists feel that FIFA, through dynamic pricing, have made this World Cup unaffordable. What's your response?
Yeah, look, President Trump said it a couple of weeks ago, right, that tickets are very expensive. And I think that's what happens when you have a World Cup, an event like a World Cup that's truly amazing here at the United States of America, right? I mean, you have, as of right now, from what I'm told, over 6 million tickets have been sold. The previous record for tickets sold in a World Cup was 3.5 million. That was back here in the USA in 1994. And so when you have that much demand for a World Cup, and that limited supply of tickets, right? You're talking about less than 7 million tickets. I've heard over 500 million ticket requests across the tournament. It ends up creating, expensive prices for this.
Very interesting stuff there, Darren. What do you make of Giuliani's words there regarding the referee, Omar Artan?
Yeah, it's listen, we don't know the ins and outs, so we can only speculate, but of course, if what he's saying is true, then of course they've made the right decision. But again, for me to sit here and be quite ignorant and be like, oh, okay, well, yeah, go either way. I mean, we just don't know. But you'd like to think whatever's going on in the investigation, they'll do their due diligence on the whole situation and then go from there. But it's just what I just find a little bit bizarre is not even so much bizarre, but is that they've made the decision to, whether it's rightly or wrongly, not let him into the country to referee the games. But then UEFA have given him the Super Cup final.
Yeah.
That's where I'm a little bit like, well, hold on.
Yeah.
Surely they're aligned, right? And you'd go, well...
Yeah, UEFA have effectively gone 1-0 up on FIFA here, haven't they?
Yeah.
They've tried to make a statement to FIFA.
Exactly. So that's where I'm a little bit like, well, this doesn't really make sense to me. But again, without knowing the actual details, then it's kind of hard for me to sit here and comment on or have an opinion on it either way, really.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Do you know what I do have quite a strong opinion on, though?
What?
Without knowing the ins and outs of that, I've found Infantino's reaction to it all just appalling.
When he said about chill?
Yeah, telling like, anybody that has an opinion on this, if you're being critical of it or if you're just voicing concerns about it, his reaction was about as patronising as it could be. He basically said to anyone with an opinion on this, chill out, relax.
Yeah.
Like, who do you think you are?
I know.
Chill out.
Yeah, but again, that's what obviously people in power, but it'd be interesting because it is all a little bit like surface value in terms of, I know they can't really give out too many details, but they're almost just kind of putting something out there and then kind of skirting around it. But listen, I'm guessing, I reckon we'll probably never know as to the extent of why he hasn't been let into the country. But as I said, it's just bizarre for me that UEFA have gone, okay, straight within about 24 hours, I think it was, here you go, here's the Super Cup final.
Yeah, he's been awarded, like the Super Cup is a showpiece for UEFA, isn't it? It's one of the landmark events. And look, it's taking place in Salzburg, and he will be the referee.
Yeah.
It's a big statement. It's a massive statement from FIFA in a sort of war with UEFA. So no, it's big, and obviously we will keep you across that. What did you make of the comments that he made about ticket prices?
Yeah, I mean, again, but listen, it is expensive. You can't hide the fact. I mean, I know a couple of guys that were looking to go out to the States for it weren't even a huge. I know to every country that's in this World Cup, it's huge for their benefit in terms of going to watch their own country, right? But they're talking about some of the games that are not massive, and they're talking about like £1,000 to go and watch like I don't like you really using the word bog standard because I don't think it's a little bit disrespectful. But you understand, you're not getting Brazil, France. You're not getting France,
Yeah, no,
Spain.
it's all smoke and mirrors. You know, when you pretend that you go, oh, well, some of the tickets are priced at 60 quid. You're like, yeah, maybe 1% of the tickets are priced at 60 quid.
And, that's it. And if you get them at source, the moment you don't get them at source and it goes onto the touts,
exactly,
it goes up three times.
No, it's appalling to try and gaslight us into believing that it's fair value is really out of order. We're going to go to the phone lines, Darren. We're going to speak to Amir. Amir's a Manchester United fan. Welcome, Amir.
How you doing, Rory? How you doing, Darren?
How you doing, boss? You all right? You good?
I just want to say, if today is like it is, then 5 weeks, 6 days, mate, your shows are fantastic. 1 minute you're in Mexico, and the next Simon and Jim are in the New York World Trade Center, where I was 4 years ago. It is a fantastic building, so they were on the 50th floor, I was on the 100th floor. So
all right, flex,
1-0, Amir.
Flexing, yeah.
That is brilliant. But just coming on what you said about the red cards, spoke to your producer, correct me if I'm wrong. Doesn't straight red mean 3 matches, man?
No.
And yellow, red.
No, not in this
Not in
tournament.
tournament?
No.
I mean, that referee was giving out cards like it was Christmas. There was a couple of yellow cards there as well. But I thought he had control of the first 2, the last one, and with Darren, the guy was running diagonally away from goal.
Yeah.
And I thought, none of us thought a red card would come, so a lot of us were shocked. And I don't know if that can be appealed or not. If that's the case, then that's another sad thing he's going to miss. You're potentially only going to have 2 games out of 3 if it all goes well. But I thought, tournament started well. I mean, there were some good things like the time wasting. You could see it, get up, no time wasting, 10 seconds, get off the pitch. It looks good, but I thought, those red cards kind of ruined it a bit
Do you know the thing as well? With the last one, it was just...
It was unnecessary. It was an unnecessary challenge. It was an unnecessary red card. Everything about it was avoidable.
I was waiting for the replay, and I thought maybe it was a bad challenge. It wasn't any of that.
No, it was just a completely late mistimed tackle.
No, he didn't mistime it. He knew what he was doing.
Do you think?
Yeah, 100%.
But it wasn't malicious. There was absolutely
no, it wasn't malicious, but it was intent. But it was not intent to hurt somebody. But he knew exactly what he was doing. Yeah, 100%.
Do you think it was worthy of?
No. Listen, it's not a red, but I knew he knows exactly what he's doing. He's thinking, do you know what? I don't want to concede here. Yeah. I'll take. This is what he's thinking. I'll take the booking. Yeah. I'll just take the booking. Next thing you know, red card.
Yeah. Also, I know it has been suggested that he was the last man, but by my definition of what the last man means, he's not the last man.
Well, the first red card is last man.
Yeah.
The completely different situations.
Yeah, I agree. There's a great text that's come in here, by the way, from Dean Mack, and it says, Giuliani having the audacity to claim it being the most sought-after amount of tickets at a World Cup whilst forgetting there's double the amount of games is laughable. I thought exactly that. Yeah. You know what Giuliani said? We've never had this amount of people trying to get tickets, never had this amount of people successfully getting tickets. Of course we haven't. 48 teams at the tournament.
Yeah, true, yeah.
I thought that was completely correct. Now, though, it's time for this.
I might have to make up the jingle, Lucas.
Oh, there is. Right.
It's coming out. Don't worry. I've got faith in you, Al. Al, I've got faith in, trust me. Alex.
Right. Still to come, we're going to be joined by Kevin Hatchard for a special World Cup edition of Drive Worldwide. But first, it is time for No Googling. We want to know, who are the only host nation to ever lose the opening game of a World Cup, and who did they lose to? I know this.
Say again?
You're not focused.
No, I'm trying to hope it... Al, listen.
Giving the eyes.
Al is top drawer, but at the minute is... Do you know what I mean?
Right, Darren, we want to know who are the only... there we go. Well played, sir. Who are the only host nation to ever lose the opening game of a World Cup, and who did they lose to? I don't know that bit. I know the first bit of the question. I've got half an answer for you.
The host nation.
Only host nation. Only one host nation has ever lost the opening game. Do you know who it is? And do you know who it was against? We will tell you after this.
21 players today were absolutely brilliant. All played well. The only person I didn't think contributed very much down the right was James. I was very disappointed with him. He didn't really support the winger, and that was a concern, not like the left-hand side, which was absolutely brilliant. But one other point I just want to bring up, we made 11 substitutes. You can't do that in the World Cup, I'm afraid. You know, we're going to have to keep some of the players on, and as long as the back four keep okay, we'll be able to make the other 5 substitutes at the business end.
Yeah, I mean, it's a friendly, and that was used as that. He'd done something.
Just minutes, get the boys minutes under the belt.
They've got
in these conditions.
They've got an hour's football tomorrow. Another friendly. He'll probably change things around. There's a number of players that came on 71 minutes. Have highlighted those. I think today's exercise, or last night's it was, I think it ticked all the boxes, Gemma.
It's put us in a great position. I think we're in the best position to be, finally trying to bring this home. I think the players all look up for it. The cohesion, the style is what we've been crying out for. Yeah. That aggressive front foot, punishing teams, attacking football because we've got the players to do it. Not being afraid of anyone. And I think that's the style we've all been crying for, and we're finally seeing it.
Yeah. Who starts centre-half for you, Cole?
Oh, Stones and Gay, without a doubt. I put Concert out on the right, or bring in Spence and put him on the right.
Yeah, not dropping Reece James.
Well, I don't think James contributed very much, but obviously the manager likes him a lot, but he's going to contribute more to the attacking side of it.
Yeah, I think Reece was slightly more reserved.
I think that's just when I said the game was that easy. Yeah. He was just reserved. He was like, do you know what? I don't need to bomb forward. It's hot. We've got big games coming up. I don't need to try.
Watford say Kenny Jackett was instrumental in some of their greatest successes. Jackett, who also managed Wolves and Millwall, has died aged 64. Now, do players really need love from those outside international camps? That was a suggestion from Jude Bellingham, but Brad Friedel says players should strive for respect. The former USA goalkeeper reckons the best managers and coaches can give both.
This is why a manager like Pep Guardiola is so good, because I don't care what you think. This is my way. And then he got backed by upstairs, and then he was able to create a monster. That's why Sir Alex Ferguson was so successful.
England face Croatia live on talkSPORT next Wednesday, while Scotland get going live on talkSPORT at 2 a.m. Sunday morning. Now, Ipswich Chief Exec Mark Ashton says he'd be very surprised to see Kieran McKenna pop up in another job this summer. Ashton believes McKenna's decision to step down is genuinely about rest.
I felt he was being really honest and really genuine with me, and he needed to take some time and breathe to come back again at a later date. And it felt right. It was sincere.
And Beth Mead has signed a 3-year contract with WSL champions Man City. Last month, Mead left Arsenal after 10 seasons and over 150 appearances.
You're listening to World Cup Game Day on talkSPORT with me, Rory Jennings and Darren Bent. Still to come, we'll be asking if England fans love their players enough. But a few moments ago, we brought you the first of today's No Googling questions. We asked, who are the only host nation to ever lose the opening game of a World Cup? And who did they lose to? Do you know the answer, Benty?
Qatar lost to...
Qatar did lose. That's you've got the first part of the question correct. Qatar lost to who?
Oh.
You never get it.
Who was it? Give me the location.
South American side.
Uruguay.
No. The answer is Ecuador. They lost 2-0 to Ecuador in 2022.
I remember now.
But now, though, it's time to slide into today's Game Day with Burger King.
Sliding into Game Day on talkSPORT with Burger King Burger Buddies. Total tournament satisfaction delivered by the experts. Order now on the BK app.
Drive worldwide. Why?
I can't wait for this.
This is Drive Worldwide as we slide into Game Day with Burger King. We'll discuss 3 key talking points ahead of all the action. And joining us now is our World Cup expert, Kevin Hatchard.
How are we, chaps? You well?
Do you know what? I wasn't sure that he was going to come with that slogan. It was a bit of a pause there, Kev. I was a bit concerned.
I was building it just for you. I was also screaming Ecuador, by the way.
Good work.
You couldn't hear me.
Of course you were. Of course you were. Right. Let's start with the opening 2 games of the tournament. Host Mexico were 2-0 winners over South Africa last night in a game which saw 3 red cards. England could end up facing Mexico at some point in this competition, Kev. What do you make of them?
Yeah, I thought they played okay. I thought it was interesting that Javier Aguirre, their coach, said afterwards he thought they were a bit nervous, and I think that was fair to say. But they obviously got the early goal, and Quinones with a brilliant finish. But South Africa, I think, were authors of their own downfall, really. I thought they were very pedestrian. They've got better technical players in that squad, which they didn't really start with. I know that's caused a bit of controversy in South African media. And it just lacked that ability to beat a man and to really get them up the pitch. And you see teams make mistakes. It was a poor touch from Sitole. The pass wasn't great from Williams, and then they play themselves into trouble. But even though they had spells of possession, I thought they were poor, and I thought Mexico carried a threat more or less all the way through. I was so pleased for Raul Jimenez that he got his goal. You could see what it meant to him, brought tears to his eyes. And I think he could be a really important player for them. I think if they manage his minutes correctly, I could see them winning this group. I thought they looked sharp. I thought Gutierrez looked really, really dangerous. So it was, really, really good start. But some of the refereeing, I think, was a touch harsh, shall we say.
Honestly, Kev, I mean, the first point I want to make was, South Africa kept trying to play out from the back. The goalkeeper was doing everything he could to give the ball to Mexican strikers for them to score. I couldn't quite understand why they kept doing it. But you just mentioned it there, Kev. Now, I thought the first red card was a red card when he went through. It was a little bit clumsy.
That's Stonewall.
Right.
Has to be.
The second one can go either way with the face slap, kind of. But the third one, I don't see how in any stretch that's a red card.
Yeah, it's been interesting listening to kind of ex-referees and referees kind of describe what they're looking for and why that red card might have been the way to go. My feeling was that the touch was taking him a little bit wide, and maybe there were players coming in on the cover. It felt harsh to me, and certainly Montes looked absolutely dumbfounded by that decision. I thought the second red card was a little bit harsh as well. It was a bit of grappling. He's trying to get past him. Didn't feel like a massive swing of the hand to me. But as you say, the first one absolutely is a red card. So, yeah, and I personally, this is just a bugbear of mine. I'd love to get rid of these referee announcements. Get rid of them, honestly. We have it in the Premier League as well with, Porce and Tails and the gang, telling us the reason for a decision. If we're watching on telly, we know why. If you're in the stadium, stick it on the screen.
Yeah.
Just get on with it.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. Kev, let's move on now to the second game, which saw South Korea come from behind to beat Czechia. They were good, I thought, South Korea. Really lively, weren't they? Buzzing it about. Good side.
Yeah, I thought they played well. There's been a lot of talk in the build-up to the tournament about whether the selections would be correct from Hong Myung-bo, the coach. It's his second spell in charge, and he's had a bit of heat for some of his selections, but they look really, really sharp. I thought Hwang and Paik in central midfield were excellent throughout, just finding those pockets of space. I said when Czechia qualified, I thought Republic of Ireland would look at it, and I thought Denmark would look at it and think that could have been us. Because I don't think Czechia are a great team. I thought they played defensively. Yes, they're physical. Yes, they're a threat from set plays, but they offered so little, I thought, going forward. I mean, poor old Patrick Schick barely saw the ball for the entire time he was on. So even though they've got some good technical players, I love Schultz. I think he's a great little player. We didn't really see that, and they were just trying to hang in there and rely on set plays. So South Korea with a great start. I think this group's going to be fascinating, actually. There'll be a few twists and turns, I think.
Okay, people always talk about dark horses, and I know it's really early into the competition, but looking at the way that South Korea played, I did think, oh, they've got some nice technical players. They've got players that have played at the highest level as well. Could you see them being a dark horse? And maybe not even if they win it, but I always go back to Korea in 2002, where they got to the semi-finals or the quarterfinals, I believe.
Yeah, they did.
Could we see that again with South Korea?
I just feel with them, I think they play lovely football. I think they've got, obviously, Son got himself into some great positions, didn't make best use of them, but got into great positions. What worries me is how easy the goal was that they conceded. I mean, it's just a straight long throw and a free header, really. And also, even though Souček was offside, how easily he got onto that delivery as well to seemingly put Czechia back in front. So that would concern me a little bit, but they've certainly got the ability to keep the ball, and that's going to be really, really important, whether it's heat, whether it's altitude, whatever the conditions are. It's going to be really important if you can keep the ball. But in terms of a deep run in the tournament, I'm not totally convinced just yet.
Yeah, I think that's about right as well, Kev. Do you looking forward to the games tonight? There are some big games. Canada face Bosnia live on talkSPORT at 8 p.m. Could be a good one.
Yeah, this is where you say something where your credibility will either be enhanced.
What did you say,
shredded.
Kev?
Because
Kev, you need to get yourself into a situation that I'm in, where you have no credibility to start with.
That's it. Look, it's all about strong opinions, this game, as you know, Rory. It's all about strong opinions. Look, I really like Bosnia. I think we talk about dark horses. I think they could come through this group comfortably. I think they could even win it. Although I really like Switzerland, so I think that's going to be the battle. I find it amazing that I know Canada are the home side. I get that. I find it amazing their odds on to win this game with the bookies, because you've got a Bosnian team that's got Edin Dzeko. Yes, he's in his 40s, but still a quality player. If he doesn't play, you've got Ermedin Demirovic, who's been excellent for Stuttgart in the Bundesliga. You've got Haris Tabakovic, who's just had a great season with Borussia Mönchengladbach and played really well against Italy in that World Cup playoff. They knocked out Wales. They knocked out Italy. They're really physical. Yes, they're direct, unapologetically so, but they've got a couple of great young players. Look out for Alay Begovic. Really, really good player, fearless. I like him a lot. So I think they've got more to give than they're being given credit for here. I really like the coach as well, Barbares, because he went for the job years and years ago, didn't get it, and thought, well, that's the only job I want. So he went off to be a poker player and just waited until he got the chance to take the job. And then when he did, he's managed to get them into the World Cup.
Well, Kev, the next game is obviously at the perfect kickoff time of 2 a.m. So I'll make sure I stay out for that one. USA, Paraguay. I don't know why, but I feel like there's a lot of pressure around the US. Now, I don't expect them to win it, far from it, but it just feels like, because it's maybe partly in America, and I listened to Pochettino's press conference, and I know a lot of people weren't happy with maybe the way qualifying went. I mean, how do you expect the US to go? And they need to get off to a good start tonight, right? Or this morning.
Well, look, I think the difficult thing when you haven't necessarily had to qualify is that, you know, everything's a friendly and you're trying to build towards something. My slight worry about them is how many of their key players are coming in on poor form domestically. Because Christian Pulisic is obviously the big poster boy. He's the big star, Captain America, all that stuff. I mean, he says he had some good performances in the second half of the season. I didn't see a lot of that. for Milan. And you look at what happened with Milan in the second half of the season. They went from title contenders to not even qualifying for the Champions League. And he's a part of that. Now, it's unfair to pin that all on him, of course. But is he coming in on incredible form? No. That's not to say he won't get it back. He's a very talented player. But Weston McKennie, Juventus struggled towards the end of the season. Malik Tillman had a really, I thought, poor season in general with Bayer Leverkusen. So I just wonder about them. I think there's a big question mark over them. Yeah, you'd expect them to get out the group. Are they going to get that far? I can't really see it. I just think there are too many question marks over that team.
Agreed. Okay, just the last one for me. Obviously, Portugal, they start against DR Congo on Wednesday. But it looks like Bernardo Silva, obviously, we know Premier League, absolutely one of the greats, is off to Real Madrid. Do you think that's going to happen? Is that something that you think can get pushed through?
Yeah, I think it will happen. And I think it's a classic Real Madrid move in recent years. If you look at the fact that they've made a number of free transfer signings that have been really eye-catching. And I think he's somebody that will really thrive there. They've lacked something in midfield, I think, in terms of just maybe a little bit of grit, maybe a little bit of streetwise kind of knowledge, know-how, bit of nous, bit of the dark arts here and there. He's got all of that. He's a winner. I really like Bernardo. I think he's a real winner. I think he'll fit in weirdly with the whole Jose Mourinho thing, because he's been confirmed as coming back, and he's the kind of guy I think Mourinho will really like to work with. So, I mean, this could be anything. It really could. What fascinates me is that Mourinho's gone back there. That's been pushed through by the president, Florentino Perez, in a way that Xabi Alonso's hiring was not, which became very important in the end. And the Vinicius Junior thing really fascinates me. He's only got a year left. Mourinho, of course, made some really ill-judged comments about him when they had that Champions League tie, and Gianluca Prestiani was accused of racism towards Vinicius Junior. And so the feeling is, the briefing is that it's going to be fine. Vinicius Junior is okay. He's happy to move past it. But that's what they say now. Let's see what happens a couple of months into the season. So that's going to be a powder keg. I can't wait to see what happens.
It's going to be absolutely brilliant. Kevin Hatchard, thank you so much for finding the time. Always a joy to speak to you.
Cheers, Kev.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers. That was a look at some of the day's key talking points, all thanks to Burger King.
Sliding into game day on talkSPORT with Burger King Burger Buddies. Iconic winners delivered in the box every time. Order now on the BK app.
You are listening to World Cup Game Day live on talkSPORT with myself, Rory Jennings, and Darren Bent. Still to come, we'll hear what Jude Bellingham has been saying about Benty's former teammate, Jordan Henderson.
For you, Carl, obviously playing right back, you would have played against these two guys, and we don't quite know which one will start, and that's Anthony Gordon and Marcus Rashford on that left-hand side. Now, you've played against both. I'm not going to say which one's better, but what differences are there between the two, and what makes both of them as good as they are? Obviously, Rashford being at Barca, Anthony Gordon just got the move to Barcelona. What are the differences between the two?
I think that just says it there. There's not really much with one team signing them both, and wanting to take them because they fit the personality that they want to play the game at. I think, listen, they're both extremely quick players, and they both got an eye for goal as well. The main thing is that I feel that in tournaments that I've played in previously to this, there's not been many other goals than Harry Kane, and that's what we need to find. And as having one of them on the pitch, with Bakaya or Noni on the other side, I think they need to bring some goals into it.
The fullback situation. Reece was a little bit more reserved last night than O'Reilly. O'Reilly, we know he's He's a midfielder that plays left back. He's an 8 that can be a 10. He's incredibly talented. I mean, you'll know all about him, right? Reece, I felt, was a little bit more structured to his game.
Yeah.
And maybe that's because of his hamstrings. Maybe they're managing that. I know at Chelsea they've had to manage that because there is some fragility in and around there. How important is that, though, that Nico Riley does that job on that side? Because his link-up play is exceptional. He really is a major talent.
I think you can't take that away from Nico. What he's done at Manchester City and arriving in the box in areas that you don't expect a left-back to get into just shows what he does offensively. But I think Reece James played a very intelligent game last night. You know, from watching it, he managed himself really well. You don't need to peak now. Reece James needs to peak in the knockout stages. Please God, England get to that, and that's when we'll see the best from Reece James.
Did you hear about Nico O'Reilly coming through when you was at City? Because for me, it felt like he just came from nowhere and exploded. Did you hear about him? Because you always hear about whispers in the...
Hello, I'm Matt Forden from talkSPORT. This is How to Win the World Cup.
This is the best squad I think England have ever had.
He used to love America, now he doesn't. It's very sad.
It was so important to succeed because of all the pressure we received.
Don't jump for this one, I'm going to knock his head off.
Warning, this podcast does not guarantee England will actually win anything.
You are listening to World Cup Game Day live on talkSPORT with me, Rory Jennings and Darren Bent. Brought to you by Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever it is, they're here for it. Still to come, we'll be asking if England fans love their players enough. But just quickly, Bernardo Silva is set to sign for Real Madrid, and Manchester City have signed Beth Mead on a free transfer from Arsenal. Now, let's take a look at the latest odds with Bet365.
On the ball, on talkSPORT with Bet365. Check out more offers than ever before this summer. Head over to Bet365 and see why it's never ordinary. 18 plus, gambleaware.org.
And to do that, we're joined by Bet365 Steve Freeth. Good afternoon, Steve.
Rory, how you doing, pal?
Yeah, very well. How are you?
Yes, yeah, looking forward to tonight's games. I was up early this morning watching the South Korea game. Bit of sleep, back on it. Can't beat it, can you?
Yeah, mate, there's nothing quite like a tournament like this. We need to talk about the amount of red cards. Like, what are you thinking? The amount of red cards throughout this tournament, how's it looking?
Well, originally, Rory, we had our benchmark was 12. Okay, we'd looked at previous. The last two were 4 red cards in each. But admittedly, it's a longer format now, isn't it? But that even money for 12 over 12 red cards is actually now 1 to 10. So
right.
we've actually shortened it quite a bit after Wilton Sampaio worked his magic last night. Yeah. So, and I also, what was interested in that game was we've got a market on both teams to get a red card, and we were 50 to 1 about that, and we had 1,664 actual bets on it. So there were a few punters last night who were obviously enjoying themselves, as well as the punters that took advantage of our super boost of 1 to 7 into evens about Mexico scoring a goal. But hey, listen, Rory, it's a marathon, not a sprint, pal.
Talk to me in a game that's on live on talkSPORT 8 p.m. Canada versus Bosnia.
Who do you fancy here, Darren?
Do you know what? I've got a sneaky suspicion Bosnia.
Yeah, I went to the Cardiff City Stadium, actually. I went to Cardiff to watch this game. And when Bosnia played Wales, and Wales were on the bridle for quite a bit, I thought, OK, Wales are going through to the final. But Bosnia showed plenty of fight. Dzeko scored, of course, still going now. He got that all-important equaliser. And they've just got a habit, haven't they, of just fighting and going through on penalties. So they are the outsiders, actually, tonight in the 90 minutes. They're actually close to touching to 4-1, which might surprise a few. But Canada, the hosts in Toronto, 4-5. They're yet to win a game in the World Cup. I know Alphonso Davies will be probably missing. But they've got the players that should be able to hurt Bosnia, I would have thought. But yeah, it's an interesting matchup, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. And at 2 a.m. live on talkSPORT, we have the USA versus Paraguay. How are you feeling about that one?
Yeah, I'll do well to last to that, Rory. I must admit. Let's see what happens down the Red Lion tonight. But yeah. It might be a long old day, but yeah, USA are actually 66-1 in the actual outright, so they are dark horses for a lot of people. 11-10 to win the game, with Paraguay 27-10, so just a bit shorter than 3-1. Listen, this is the golden generation for the States, isn't it? They got to the quarters in '94. Pulisic is 125-1 to win the Player of the Tournament award. They got Balogun, who's playing in Europe, and Paraguay don't concede a lot of goals. Admittedly, they only conceded 10 in qualifying, but they only scored 14. But I have had a word for a goal scorer in this game. Serious one that people might not know about this, but I've had a little whisper who's going to get the first goal.
Go on, then.
Diana Ross is going to be wheeled out to get the first goal for the USA today, guys. So watch out for that one.
Well, let's hope it's better than the last time she tried it.
Oh, exactly, yeah. We don't want the keeper coming out too soon, do we? Hey, Darren?
I love that. Steve, thank you so much.
Cheers, Rory. All the best.
Cheers. Those were the latest odds with Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. 18 plus, gambleaware.org.
On the ball, on talkSPORT with Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. 18 plus, gambleaware.org.
Next up, we're going to hear from Jude Bellingham. He's been speaking about the love that he receives from fans and Benty's former teammate, Jordan Henderson. This is World Cup Game Day live with myself, Rory Jennings, and Darren Bent.
First player up front I've gone for Neymar.
No, mate, honestly.
What do you mean? Don't start. I'm giving Neymar a free roll as well.
Mate, Neymar, the most overrated footballer of his generation. I'm not having it.
Conde, don't.
No, I'm not having it.
Don't,
no,
I'm a big Neymar.
No, he
doesn't overrate.
He does the most overrated footballer of his generation.
Oh my God. At Barca.
No, not having him. Not having him. Not having him. No, not having it. Nope. So that's the music stopped.
Conde, please,
no,
mate.
No, not Neymar.
Who's a better player? Neymar, Hazard.
R9. Oh, give me Hazard every day of the week, mate. Mate, give me. Is it? No, don't get me on the Neymar.
Okay. R9's playing with him. R9's
take Neymar out.
But
no,
mate, come on. Neymar. Pace.
No.
Skill.
No. He's got a heart the size of a.
Yeah, but mate, he made you enjoy football watching him.
No,
that's a typical centre half.
No, do you know? No, give me R9. Right, I'm not having Neymar. Not at any price.
Neymar, Suarez, Messi.
No, give me Hazard. Give me anyone. You don't want Neymar in your team, mate.
What do you mean?
You don't want Neymar in your team.
What he won with Barca?
What he won?
Well, he's part of it, mate. He was outstanding. Come on.
No. Here's a stat. When he left Barcelona, he never won a major honour again. And don't give me.
He left Barca for the dough, didn't he? Obviously to PSG.
Well, that goes down. It's a black mark in my book.
Know, but
No.
Conde, we've become very close, mate.
No, I know, but we're going to fall out of a Neymar.
Yeah, it could be, mate.
No.
Please, mate.
No.
Wow.
No. No. Scrub him out.
Let's break.
Scrub.
All right. He's out. Thiago's in.
are listening to World Cup Game Day on talkSPORT with me, Rory Jennings, and Darren Bent. Still to come, we'll be joined by our chief football correspondent, Alex Crook, live from Dallas. But now it's time to get the latest from the England cap with Enterprise Rent-A-Car.
On England's Corner on talkSPORT, brought to you by Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever it is, we're here for it.
Bellingham has got 2 balls to his left-hand side. If he can get it through, and he has. It's Kane, and it's so.
With England, we've always got a chance.
The reason why they went for Thomas Tuchel is not to maintain the status quo, was to win.
Goes back to Modric. Oh! Fantastic goal from the edge of the penalty area. What a finish that was from Luka Modric.
People still see Modric as the face of Croatia. They might not be noticing that there are some really, really good young players coming through. And my one to watch is Luka Vučković, one of the best defenders in the Bundesliga. Tough, sturdy, composed on the ball, and he chips in with goals as well.
Lovely ball into Semenyo, and he turns it into the far corner.
Ghana, they will be a threat.
Thomas Asante!
To qualify for the World Cup alone is a big statement from us.
And the Panamanians, jig of delight in the stands, says it all. They have their first ever World Cup goal.
Oh, England get their World Cup underway on Wednesday when they face Croatia before further group games against Panama and Ghana. Midfielder Jude Bellingham has been speaking to the Lions Den on the official England YouTube channel, and he discussed what the side needs to finally get over the line this year.
I think at the Euros we got some things a little bit wrong off the pitch. I don't feel like the group connected as well as it could have, for a number of reasons. You know, the people that were there.
There was just a bit more pressure.
I think expectations part of it.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, we've done well obviously in the last 2018. We've done well in Qatar. We've done well at the Euros both times. And then when it came to that tournament, I think we were seen as, you know, one of the 2 or 3 teams that should win it. We weren't playing particularly well, which doesn't help. So even when we were winning, it felt like you don't get the feeling that we were as happy as we should be. Because there has to be that element of relentlessness, and you want to win. But the nature of football, and especially at this level, is that wins go out the system very quickly. And I think we should have held on to that moment a little bit more. And I think this time round, having those experiences, knowing that, for example, the guy who scores the goal in the World Cup winning final isn't always the one that you'd bet your house on. So everyone's got to be ready. Everyone's got to feel loved. Everyone's got to feel like they're playing a huge part of the team. And the other thing is, just to enjoy it.
Interesting words there from Jude Bellingham. What do you make of it all, Darren? Do you think it's very important that the fans are completely behind the players ahead of a tournament?
Yeah, I mean, listen, of course it plays its part, and I think on the whole, they usually are, because most of the conversations we have before any tournament starts, that we're going to win it. So that tells you that they're going to believe, they believe that the England squad can do it. That where there's a little bit of maybe, not, I wouldn't say discontent, but is on the selection of the squad. You're going to get some fans that are like, well, if you're a Forest fan, for instance, you'd be like delighted that Elliot Anderson's in, but you're going to go, how the hell is Morgan Rogers not? Not Morgan Rogers, Morgan Gibbs-White not. So, you know what I mean? Then you're going to see some Man United fans, and maybe right or wrong, Harry Maguire not getting them called up. And so there's a little bit of that going on. But listen, every footballer wants to feel loved. There are some players I've played with that couldn't care less, and their performance will still be like high or tip-top, and it doesn't faze them. Where there were guys where they needed that arm around them, they needed to feel that love from the crowd to really kind of maximise what they've got.
Do you know what I think is a shame there? Obviously, listening to Jude Bellingham speaking about it, obviously his is a lived experience. He has felt maybe the wrath of England fans as well as the adoration.
Yeah.
But from my experience, like, I follow England. I was in Gelsenkirchen when he scored that bicycle kick. He was completely loved. Like, you know when people say, oh, maybe England fans, we like to build up our players and knock them down or whatever. That's something that was said about England fans. From my experience, that's not the case.
Yeah,
like Jude Bellingham, I can't even have a conversation with somebody that tries to tell me Jude Bellingham should be in England.
Oh, no, but you get
I can't even talk about it.
The biggest thing, you get so many people saying he's overrated and that he's not good enough. And you are right, we've got a habit in this country of building players up and completely trying to knock them down. Rooney had it.
Yeah, Rooney.
Beck's had it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But people have had it where they've reached a certain level where they've almost gone past that top tier, and people are like, right, it's time to bring them down again. So, but for Jude, again, I understand what he's saying, but he's someone, to me, to be fair, that he'll play the same way regardless.
Yeah.
But he has come over for his critics, people calling him overrated, saying he's not good enough. Some people saying he shouldn't start for England. Now, I can't understand that. I don't understand how you think Jude Bellingham, the moments he's had for England, when we've needed a goal, when he's popped up you were there, bicycle kicks or big goals. Even the other day, he didn't score, but the way he plays when he gets on the ball, he creates things. He's done so much in such a short space of time in terms of football, playing for Birmingham at 15 years old, going to Dortmund, being brilliant, then going to Rome. Like, people work their whole lives, not even so much their whole lives, but the chunk of their career to get an opportunity to go to a club like Real Madrid. And he does it within a couple of years.
Yeah, I agree. And then he goes there straight away, wins the league.
Wins the Champions League, wins the league, wins Golden Boy, right?
Yeah, unreal.
All these things here, people, it's almost like he's got there so quickly, people are like, right, don't like this.
Do we maybe as a nation need to learn to love players with that element of arrogance? Like, it isn't a very English trait, is it?
No.
Like, we're quite, I think in theory at least, we're supposed to be quite modest. We're supposed to be quite self-deprecating.
Yeah. But that's why I give the American sports fan all the credit in the world, because in this country, if someone signs a big old contract, right, the first thing we do in this country is he's not worth that.
Yeah.
And they try and do all they can to kind of justify their... Listen, football wages is crazy anyway, but they do all they can to kind of tear it down. He didn't do this, he didn't do that. How are they paying him this? Whereas in American sports, if someone signs a record-breaking contract, and usually it's quarterbacks, because quarterbacks come out and it's... even though they're not linked, it's almost like, right, that quarterback's coming up. What did he get paid? I want more. Do you know what I mean? It's always...
Yeah, we celebrate... Well, we don't necessarily celebrate the achievements of others in the way that other nations...
Whereas in America, every single time someone signs a record-breaking contract, they celebrate it like crazy. Yeah. He's earned this $100 million contract. Oh, it's incredible. They love it.
Yeah, nobody's ever said... Marcus Rashford, congratulations, getting 350 grand.
No.
Well done. Well done, Marcus.
You know
getting 350 grand a week. Everybody would love to do that for their family. Everybody would love to secure themselves a contract, but we don't necessarily celebrate.
And I get that, because I understand the cost of living crisis and the way the world is at the minute, and which is why people are, when that kind of news comes out, people are probably thinking to themselves, why are we celebrating that for? Like, this will be the terminology I always hear, right? And listen, it's up to you whether you agree with it or you don't, but it's, hold on. They train for a couple of hours a day.
Oh, yeah.
And he's going to 350 grand a week. I go to work for 12 hours a day.
People try and draw parallels between being a footballer and
it's hard, because we know football's not like any other job in this country. We understand that, but in other countries, and again, America, because I love American sports, honestly, it's celebrated.
Is it?
Big contracts, big rewards, they celebrate.
I think maybe as a nation, we need to find an admiration for players like Jude Bellingham. So, for example, you know when he scores a goal in the last minute to keep England in a tournament? We're playing in Germany. We're desperate to succeed off the back of what happened in the previous year, as we felt like we could. We're nearly going out. We're going to limp out the tournament in Gelsenkirchen. It was going to be really flat. He scores that goal. Yeah. Unbelievable goal. And then he says, who else?
Yeah.
We sneer at that, don't we?
Yeah.
Whereas I think what we need to do is love it.
Yeah.
Like, you know when Cantona puts his collar up in front of the Stretford end?
Yeah.
Because he was French, I think we went, yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah. If he's English.
But if he's English, we like it. Yeah.
I mean, someone's put in, he's right, I forgot about this. Patrick Mahomes had a $500 million contract, right? And it's celebrated. It's absolutely celebrated. And this is what you're working with. But listen, for Jude, like he'll know how much he's appreciated, because he's so good. He's achieved so much in such a short space of time. He understands why. But again, he can even move it across to someone like Harry Kane.
Yeah.
The amount of times we do celebrations as to why he's not loved, the messages boards go crazy. You get a lot of them, of course, that say they love him, but loads saying, for what?
Yeah.
Never shows up. Do you know what I mean? So maybe that's just sport. Maybe that's just football in this country.
Yeah, I've only ever appreciated players like Jude Bellingham. Like, I always have. I've always loved that kind of arrogance. I think we need a little bit more of it. And the reason why I love him so much, and the reason why I appreciate him so much, is because he's the reason. If England are to win a tournament, he is the reason why. Let's now go to the phone lines. The phone lines have lit up with this conversation. If you want to get involved, 03717 223344 is the phone number to ring. Mick, the Tottenham fan, called just that number. How are you, Mick?
Good afternoon, gentlemen. How are you?
Very well. How are you?
Yeah, all good. All good. It's Friday night. The weekend's coming. About what Jude said about they need to feel loved. Now, England players have come unstuck in high-profile matches before, i.e. Beckham when he got sent off in France, yeah?
Yeah.
But you soon turn that round. When he scored that free kick against Greece at Old Trafford, he was loved again, yeah? But Bukayo Saka was one of 3 people that missed the penalty for England that put them out of a competition, yeah? His first game back in the UK, in England, after that, was at Spurs in a pre-season friendly, and the whole ground got up and clapped him. And he said how much that meant to him. Now, you're always going to have the idiots, especially these ones that are online, yeah? Because I think if people bang out of order in the grounds now, they get tugged on it, you know? They do get pulled up on it. It's all these idiots online. They might have lost a £5 bet and they're taking it the old world's code to because the bloke's missed the penalty. He's missed an open goal.
Where do you sit, Mick? Do you love Jude Bellingham?
I think he's a great player.
Yeah.
I think he's a great player, but you just let him do his talking on the pitch. Don't take it personally, Jude. Go out and show the people. And I think he can turn it on in big games. Just go and show the world what you can do.
They've got him. They've got Mick.
Mate, I've slipped him, mate. Don't worry. I'm still at large.
Lovely work, Mick. Great to talk to you. Great points made as well. I think Mick's bang on.
Yeah, I think Jude has been doing that though, showing people how good he is. But again, when you reach that level, it happened to Rooney. Rooney at one point was like, oh my goodness, he was so good. But the moment like things didn't go as well, people were on his case, on him.
Yeah, I think Rooney was unlucky because it all rested on him, didn't it? In a lot of moments, like we kind of went into certain tournaments, maybe 2010, and he was the player that we thought was going to take us to.
Well, certainly 2006 as well. When after the 2004, 2004 after that
against Croatia.
Oh my,
that. Yeah,
France.
Yeah, bullying Thuram.
That performance there. But no, you're right. But for Jude, listen, all players, and I've been there before. People will ask me a question and they'll say, "Oh, do you hear the outside noise?" Now, I'm obviously coming from a different world. There was no social media really when I was playing, but certainly in my prime. So I didn't have to deal with that aspect of it. So I don't know what that's like, but I can imagine from me being in the media now and saying something that people don't agree with, the comments that come to me. So these guys are on a whole different level.
Yeah, it's grim.
So it must be for them even worse.
Yeah, I agree. I do agree. But what I do know is that the England fans, the most loyal England fans that have travelled out to the States, they will be making sure that not only Jude Bellingham, but every single player in that squad feels the love. That was a look at all the latest in the England camp with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. They are here for it.
On England's Corner on talkSPORT. Brought to you by Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Here for it. Book now at enterprise.co.uk.
And while we're taking your calls, we want to know, do English fans love their players enough? Get in touch. I really do want to hear from you on this. 03717 223344. You're listening to World Cup Game Day Live with myself, Rory Jennings and Darren Bent. Shortly, we're going to be joined by talkSPORT's chief football correspondent, Alex Crook, while he is out in Dallas. Next, though, we're going to hear what Jude Bellingham and Morgan Rogers have been saying about Benty's former teammate, Jordan Henderson.
I think you've got a couple of positions that Rashford, Gordon, the centre-halves. I know Peter.
Saka one on the, how fit is Saka?
Yeah, how fit is B? I think you look at it, Morgan Rogers. The big one is Morgan Rogers and Jude Bellingham. Who's going to start? Who's not going to start? Can you fit them both into?
Who's starting?
No, Benny, come on. For me, Morgan's had a fantastic couple of years at Aston Villa. A fantastic couple of years. And to see what he's done for Man City when I played with him when he was coming up through the youth team to then go and do what he's done now, it's not shocked me, but it's a great step in the right direction to where he wants to be. But I think Jude's done it for season in, season out. Obviously, he's had a little bit of an injury season, we're going to say, but Jude's quality is still there.
Let me ask you then, Charlie, because you've been in an outside perspective, because all the fans, obviously English fans, are going to say, we're going to win it. And after last night, we're definitely going to win it. After what you saw last night, I know you're going to say England are one of the favourites, but can you see England winning it, or do you still think there are other nations out there that look better?
No, I do think there is other nations that have got a real good chance. I think I look at the Netherlands and I think they're probably a little bit of an outsider. But looking at the odds today, it's, Brazil are probably, and Argentina, two South Americans. You'd expect a South American team to go there. I think it's a shootout for me between France and England. That's what I believe. I think that England have got a brilliant chance. Thomas has made the decision to go and leave these players, Foden, Palmer out. and he's made that decision. And I thought England were really good last night. I thought they'd go, and like I say, for me, Stones plays because he can control the game for you in the heat. He's very good with the ball. Mark Gahey, very good with the ball. I just thought that partnership could really dovetail really well for England. And I think, and I've said it last Qatar tournament, I think England are really, really strong, and they've got a good opportunity of winning this. As a Scotsman, would I like to see it? Absolutely not. but for my son, I say it all the time, for my son who was born in England, I would love to see for him the opportunity of England winning a major tournament.
Hello, I'm Matt Forden from talkSPORT. This is How to Win the World Cup.
This is the best squad I think England have ever had.
He used to love America, now he doesn't. It's very sad.
It was so important to succeed because of all the pressure we received.
Don't jump for this one, I'm going to knock his head off.
Warning, this podcast does not guarantee England will actually win anything.
You are listening to World Cup Game Day Live on talkSPORT with me, Rory Jennings and Darren Bent. Brought to you by Burger King Burger Buddies. Iconic winners delivered in a box every time. Order now on the BK app. Still to come, we'll be asking if Scott McTominay is actually world class. But just quickly, Newcastle United's Lewis Hall is reportedly interested in a move to Manchester United. And sticking with Manchester United, they're set to beat Arsenal to the signing of Mateus Fernandes from West Ham. And Jude Bellingham and Morgan Rogers have been speaking to the Lions' Den on the official England YouTube channel. And they were asked about their teammate, Jordan Henderson.
Don't get us started on Hendo. You know, we could speak about Hendo.
He's the best guy I've ever come across, I think, in football.
Because people doubted his pick, innit? But it's like, I can see how important he is.
You don't have a clue what you're talking about. You know from being here for what, 1 week, 2 weeks, how important he is to this.
We said this the other day, if people did a blind ranking of people they'd want at the camp beforehand, he'd be in everyone's top 5.
So tell me something about him that the viewers wouldn't know.
So funny.
Funniest guy.
So funny.
Funniest
He's
guy.
the funniest guy at this camp.
Yeah.
And he gets everyone laughing. He gets everyone together. If there's ever an issue that you maybe think, I'm 22 or 23, maybe it's a bit too much for me to go and address, he'll do it for you. He'll if there's a problem between two people, he'll bring them together. He's that kind of person where even the staff will go to him to sort out issues. He's got no ego when it comes to supporting the team. I mean, yes, he's a Champions League winning captain, Premier League winning captain. He's doing the sets for the finishes yesterday.
Very interesting. Very interesting.
Serious guy.
Yeah, see, Darren, it's fascinating this, because when I hear something like that, and obviously Jude Bellingham and Morgan Rogers are talking there, glowing, being incredibly lavish in their praise towards Jordan Henderson, and they're talking about how funny he is, I'm thinking, you've left out Morgan Rogers for funny. If you want funny, take James Corden as a coach. Like, we don't need funny from a player, do we? We need an elite player that can win England a tournament. And Morgan Rogers or Morgan Gibbs-White or Cole Palmer or Phil Foden or whoever else has been left out of this squad to accommodate Jordan Henderson is more likely to take England to a tournament victory, aren't they?
Well, no, listening to that there, you can see his importance to it. Sometimes things are more important. And if you talk about having him around the camp, someone like Jordan Henderson, that's why. I mean, you've got two of their better players, and they're explaining to you why Jordan Henderson is so important. No ego, won the absolute lot. Fantastic pro. Obviously, I spent time with him at Sunderland when he was only a young boy, but you could see the leadership characteristics were there. Setting standards, not allowing his standards to slip, working hard every single day, trying to improve every single day. Doesn't surprise me.
Really?
But again, when you hear top players like those two, who are top, talking about him, that just tells you how important. You take him out of it, all of a sudden the whole thing can collapse. The whole thing could fall down because all of a sudden, they said it there between two players. Issues between two players. If Jordan's not there to kind of help sort it out, who is?
Would it make more sense then to take him in a coaching capacity?
No, because he can still play on the pitch. He's still good enough to play on the pitch.
He's not.
Well, he is good enough to play on the pitch.
Do you think so, honestly?
Yeah,
Do you think there's a situation where we look to our bench, or even, in the starting lineup?
I'm not saying starting lineup, but I think he's easily good enough. Whether the argument for some people would be Gibbs White is better than him, or various other midfield players, and that's a different discussion. But is he good enough to still play on the pitch at international level? The answer is yes.
I just can't. You know, when people talk about him, talk about what he's achieved, of course he's had a glittering career. But it's not now. You know, you go, he won the league, he won the Champions League. Yeah, he did. And when he won the Champions League that season, of course he was the starter for England. When he was guiding Liverpool to a Premier League title, obviously nobody was arguing the fact that he was starting for England. It just feels like that was a long time ago.
Yeah, but he's not starting now. But you can see his importance. And sometimes, and again, coaches like Thomas Tuchel, he'll sense that. He'll go, do you know what? And characters like that who can, because even when he's come on for England in his Thomas Tuchel reign, he's done well. He's kind of shut the situation down. He's got the tempo, got the ball moving, just calmed everyone down. And then you hear players talking about him, what he does, not only just on the pitch, but off the pitch as well. Sometimes you need that to keep that dressing room.
Really?
Yeah.
It's fascinating for me to hear this, Darren, because obviously you've been there. You've been in these dressing rooms. You understand how important these kind of players are. For me, I just think, just put the best players in there. I don't see how Jordan Henderson...
No, but it doesn't always work. You can't always put the best players together and just expect them to get on, because they've all got egos. You need someone who's willing to sacrifice themselves like he has to go, do you know what? And again, you've got enough quality there, right? You've got enough quality there that if you are losing the game, you don't have to turn to Jordan.
Yeah.
But if you're winning the game, you want to kind of shut up shop a little bit, then you can turn to him with his experience. Sometimes experience is underrated. People just expect to get rid of that. We don't need that experience. We just get the best players. It doesn't work.
Yeah, very, very interesting. Now, though, it's time to hear some of your shared takes with Burger King.
Shared takes on talkSPORT with Burger King Burger Buddies. Total tournament satisfaction delivered by the experts. Order now on the BK app.
That's right, we're taking your calls now. Do English fans love our players enough? 03717 22 3344. The first caller that we're going to speak to is Matt. Matt's a Tottenham fan. How are you, sir?
I'm not too bad, gents. How are you lot? You're doing all right?
Yeah, we're good. We're good. What do you think with regard to this question?
Well, the most irritating phrase I keep hearing is, he just needs an arm around him. He needs to be loved. I mean, he's like, grow up, mate. Grow a pair. You're a grown man. You're a professional player. I mean, fair enough. If he was 16 years old, yeah, all right, guide him through, just sort of like this, that, and the other. But, you know, this is like professional sport. Takes that, if people don't like you, fair enough. Do your job. But it's like, all right, I'm a Gen Xer, so we grew up where we ripped each other, ruthlessly. So, but he's a professional sportsman. Doesn't matter what everyone else says outside you. If someone's, ripping on you, whatever else, either ignore social media, take it on board, and use it as fuel.
But sometimes, Matt, Matt, it's fair to say, isn't it, that sometimes you get a tribal support that's so passionate and so devoted to its players that it drives a team to victory.
Yeah, but it's like, I mean, really? I mean, do you really need someone to sit around and model collar you when you're in your 20s?
Well, let me ask you a question then, Matt. You're a Spurs fan. Do you think if the Spurs players had felt more love this season, they would have performed better? Or would they perform worse if they're getting booed every week?
They didn't like playing at home, did they?
Well, no, yeah, exactly. But if they're booing you, then you're not doing your job properly, are you?
Yeah, I think that's an interesting one there, Darren. I think that is an interesting one. Let's stay with the phone lines, actually. Let's speak to Scott. Scott's a Liverpool fan. How are you, Scott?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, very well. Where do you sit on this debate?
So I wanted to talk about Jude Bellingham, and I think he's a great player, and he's got the potential to drag us through to the later stages of the World Cup. My only concern is he's also got the potential to lose it for us. Like the other night in the Costa Rica game, I don't know if you guys noticed, but there was 2 or 3 occasions where he slapped a player in the face, like a little friendly tap, but that can be misconstrued and somebody could feign injury from that, cost them a red card, cost us the game.
Yeah. You talk about maybe the passion, maybe spilling over a little bit.
Yeah, it just needs to stop with the. It's I get it. He's got to have an air of arrogance about him, and I don't want him to take that out of his game. But he's got to stop this silly behaviour because it's going to cost him. It's going to cost us.
Do you know what? Right, someone made a really good point. Yeah, about I've lost it here. They said maybe the reason why Jude's not felt as loved or appreciated is because he's not here. He plays in Spain, so we can't fully embrace. We don't see him week in, week out, so we can't really embrace the love. Like we saw Rooney. He was before our very eyes, which is why Michael Owen, these guys, they're there in front of us. We see them every single week, Match of the Day, Sky Sports, wherever. Because Jude's not here, it's hard for the general public to embrace him because they can't see him all the time.
Yeah, I kind of see that. Do you know what I just think is a shame? If Jude Bellingham doesn't feel loved, if that's how he feels like the fans aren't necessarily on his side, he doesn't have the full backing of the country, I think it's a real shame. Because from my experience, and I appreciate I live in a very metropolitan area, but everyone I know who I go to football with, who knows football, I feel like everyone has like unilateral love for Jude Bellingham.
No, you'd be surprised. Like obviously, we see it day in day out. People have a difference of opinion, but I do think it's a really good point. I wish I had his name here, but I thought it was a really good point that he made about maybe because he's not here, that's why we can't fully embrace him. But I think he's top, absolutely. Like if he becomes available, every single team on planet Earth tries to get him.
The reason I think, if you said to me, why can England win this World Cup, and you didn't want to debate it, you just went, Raw, give me one reason why England can win this World Cup. I'll go Jude Bellingham. That's my answer.
Yeah.
What is it about this England side that makes us genuine contenders for the tournament victory?
Yeah.
I'll go Jude Bellingham.
Who's more important, Jude or Kane?
I think, look, we've seen Kane before. We've seen Kane have these moments. I love Harry Kane. I don't even want to make it an opportunity to have a pop at Harry Kane. But Jude Bellingham is the guy. We've seen Kane try and stumble on the final furlong before. I feel like Jude Bellingham could be that elevation.
Yeah, potentially. Yeah.
So let's hope that he is. And if you've got a shared take,
it was Tyler. It's for Oi Benty. It was me, Tyler. At that point, great point, Tyler.
Give him his prop. Fair play. There you go, Tyler. If you've got any shared takes of your own, you can voice note us or simply give us a call on 03717 223344. That's all thanks to Burger King.
Shared takes on talkSPORT with Burger King Burger Buddies. Iconic winners delivered in the box every time. Order now on the BK app.
Now, still to come, we're going to be asking if Scott McTominay is actually world class. But first, it's time for no Googling. We want to know who holds the record for the fastest goal in World Cup history. I think I know it.
Wow, okay.
Fastest goal in World Cup history. Oh, no, I was wrong. We'll tell you the answer after this.
Shock.
I think when you look at Bellingham, especially like the last game, he started the game and within the first 10 seconds, he had pressed the ball and he went out for a throw-in, and that sets a tempo, doesn't it? But something about him, Neil, I'm with you. It's like he knows that this country should be winning World Cups, and he's got that bite about him when I watch him play.
It's just the arrogance. I love the arrogance. I must tell you, when he was at Birmingham, I remember playing against him. I think he was 16 years. I had a good, tough lad in midfield, and I said, "Listen, you're playing against a kid tonight. Just sort him out. Just you normal thing. Get stuck in, and he'll not want to know." And he actually ran the game, and I was watching him. I was thinking, bloody, I've never seen anybody like this at that age. Yeah. No, he's amazing. He was.
You need the character. See, people sometimes in football, you need an arrogance about you. All right, yes. And to do what he's done at an age that he is, go to Germany. Now he's gone to one of the biggest, if not the biggest, club in the world, and he knows he feels like he belongs there. That takes a certain confidence and arrogance. And I think sometimes, Neil, it can be misinterpreted by the public.
Yep.
That there's an arrogance
it is. Yeah.
that they don't quite understand.
No, I think it is by the public, but I think managers, you want that bit of arrogance from players like him, because if you're going to win anything, your top players have got to come forward. And he's that one that, when he's on fire, he knows he can do anything he wants in that middle. And I just love that, mate. I just, I watched him in that 90 minutes, and I thought he was the one that really pleased me more. Even though I'm glad that we've gone back to the wide lads. I love the wide lads. Gordon, Madiuka, Saka, Rashford. In playing them four, they could win us the bloody cup if they all get their finger out.
I think as well for me, Neil, in the last 6-7 months, all I've heard is, from some people in the media, idiots, I might call them, Bellingham. No, look what Thomas Tuchel said. He's made other players feel like they can't play, the pressure he puts on them. I'm like, if you're a senior pro...
Watford say Kenny Jackett was instrumental in some of their greatest successes. Jackett, who also managed Wolves and Millwall, has died aged 64. Now, do players really need love from those outside international camps? That was a suggestion from Jude Bellingham, but Brad Friedel says players should strive for respect. The former USA goalkeeper reckons the best managers and coaches can give both.
This is why a manager like Pep Guardiola is so good, because I don't care what you think. This is my way. And then he got backed by upstairs, and then he was able to create a monster. That's why Sir Alex Ferguson was so successful.
England face Croatia live on talkSPORT next Wednesday, while Scotland get going live on talkSPORT at 2 a.m. Sunday morning. Now, Ipswich Chief Exec Mark Ashton says he'd be very surprised to see Kieran McKenna pop up in another job this summer. Ashton believes McKenna's decision to step down is genuinely about rest.
I felt he was being really honest and really genuine with me, and he needed to take some time and breathe to come back again at a later date. And it felt right. It was sincere.
And Beth Mead has signed a 3-year contract with WSL champions Man City. Last month, Mead left Arsenal after 10 seasons and over 150 appearances.
You're listening to World Cup Game Day on talkSPORT with me, Rory Jennings and Darren Ben. Still to come, we'll have some fun with the best of talkSPORT. Before the break, though, we asked you who holds the record for the fastest goal in World Cup history. Benty, do you know it?
Well, I want to lie and say yes, but you told me.
Yeah, would you have known?
No.
I thought I knew and I was wrong. I thought it was Brian Robson.
You've done it every single time and got it wrong.
I've got it wrong, I know, and I also am convinced that I'm correct as well, and then I'm surprised.
Hakan Şükür.
The correct answer is not Brian Robson against France. It was Hakan Şükür for Turkey versus South Korea in 2002. He scored after 11 seconds. Now, though, we're going to head across the pond because our chief football correspondent, Alex Crook, is settling into life in Dallas ahead of England's opening group game next week. And we're delighted to say that he joins us now. Howdy, Crookie.
Howdy, boys. Welcome to Dallas. You join me on the world-famous grassy knoll, a real tourist hotspot. You can see the famous former Texas School Book Depository behind me. Lots of tourists mulling around. Not too many football fans at the moment, but I'd imagine the England contingent are going to start to flock in over the weekend ahead of that big opening game for the Three Lions against Croatia just down the road in Arlington.
Crookie, I've got to say, mate, the look suits you now. Like, I've worked with you for a long time now, and your usual taste in fashion is appalling, but the way you're dressed today, Honestly, this could be the new you. I want to see a couple of those cowboy hats come back to England.
Oh, it's definitely coming back to England, no question about that. In fact, as you know, I'm a big horse racing fan. I love Glorious Goodwood, the big festival down in Sussex. They wear Panama hats, a lot of the spectators there. I think I can pull this off.
How much it cost?
$100, and that was on the cheaper end of the scale. You could pay $1,000.
It's like J.R. Ewing. I think you should make this your thing.
I'm too frugal.
Crookie, just make this your thing. You've just become like the Texan in London.
This could be the new me. It could be the new me.
I absolutely love it. How is it in Dallas? How's the atmosphere building? World Cup fever's taken the city by storm?
Well, the first thing I would say is it is swelteringly hot, 40 degrees. It was 31 degrees when we were walking around looking for a sports bar to watch the South Korea-Czechia game last night. So obviously that's going to be an issue, although the stadium England are playing in does have air conditioning and a roof, thankfully for our own Adrian Durham, because he is melting over here. We had dinner with him last night. We watched the USA game in a bar local to the Mexico game in a bar local to our apartment. We found another sports bar for that South Korea match, and we've been invited to a USA watch-along party tonight. A couple of famous faces should be there, and I'd imagine the atmosphere then is going to be crackling.
Crookie, just walking in and about the town, I don't know what you've been up to for the last 24 hours, but I think when the World Cup of the Euros, of course, well, the Euros obviously are in Europe, wherever you get to, when we got to Germany, it felt, as soon as you stepped off the plane, right, there's a big major tournament that's happening. Since you've been there, certainly in Dallas, have you felt that at all? Is it feel a little bit like, a little bit less than you thought it would be?
It's bubbling. You know, I still think World Cup fever is yet to fully take grip. That might change once the USA start. There's a little bit of trepidation, I've got to say, from the American faithful going into this game against Paraguay. They've been a bit underwhelmed. I've mentioned it a couple of times with Mauricio Pochettino. I think he's under huge pressure to deliver a victory in that opening match. And you know what it's like, if the hosts do win the first game, then I would imagine the excitement levels will really ramp up. I'm intrigued to see, when we get to this watch-along party tonight, just the mood of the American faithful, because with so many teams qualifying for the group stage, from the group stage, they've at least got to get, haven't they, to the round of 32. Probably, I'd imagine there's pressure on Pochettino to get to a round of 16, maybe even a quarter-final.
Yeah, I completely agree, Crookie. Can we talk to you about Ipswich? Obviously, Kieran McKenna has decided to step down as manager and take a break from football. Their CEO, Mark Ashton, joined White and Jordan earlier, and he was asked how all of that came about.
A challenging few weeks, if I'm honest. Kieran came and spoke to me not long after the end of the season, and said, look, we've had the best part of 5 incredible years together, 3 promotions. I feel like I might need a break. It might be the time for me just to step back for a period. And really the conversation started from there. I said to him, look, if you genuinely feel like that, and I do see what it's taken out of him, because look, this job is tough, particularly when we've been working at the pace we've had. And I said, look, just go away and think about it. He did, and we continued dialogue consistently. And it just became apparent that he was genuinely ready to step back for a period and take a break. And it's moved from there.
Very interesting words there from Ipswich Town CEO Mark Ashton. What do you make of this news, Crookie?
Well, very candid, first of all, from Mark Ashton, so fair play to him. Obviously, Ipswich wanted Kieran McKenna to stay on and try and achieve what he couldn't last time around by keeping them in the Premier League. I've been hearing whispers since the back end of last season that Kieran McKenna was looking to get out. I thought probably he had another job lined up. We know that Fulham showed strong interest, but balked at the idea of paying his £8 million release clause. But clearly he just felt his tenure there had come to an end at Portman Road. He's going to take a sabbatical. They are protected, Ipswich. If he does take another job, they will still be entitled to compensation, certainly in the next 12 months. And maybe he thinks, if I just take a few months out of the game, a job in the Premier League higher up the food chain could possibly come my way. But it's going to be a tough act to follow, isn't it? You speak to Ipswich fans, producer Joe, who's in charge of this show. He was in mourning when he heard the news. He was going to bring you guys in black armbands. So it's going to be a big call for Ipswich in terms of who comes in now and replaces McKenna. Gary O'Neill was a big whisper I heard even before McKenna had announced his departure, and they were admirers, the Ipswich board, of Liam Rossinier, when it looked at one stage like McKenna may well jump ship for Brighton. So I wonder if he comes back into their thinking, or how damaged his reputation is, Rory, by what happened at your beloved Chelsea.
Yeah, it's a tough one, obviously, with the Ipswich situation. I think Gary Neal would be the perfect replacement. I think he'd be decent. I think he's hungry enough. I think he's got the right idea, so I think it might be him. But on the flip side, Crookie, for Fulham, what are they going to do next? Who are they looking at now?
There's a lot of talk about Alvaro Arbeloa, the former Real Madrid manager. In fact, his agent posted a picture of him and Arbeloa on social media yesterday with a white heart, saying we're looking forward to our new challenge. Is that an indication that maybe he's going to be through the door at Fulham? Oliveira, their former goalkeeper coach who worked under Marco Silva, I think is also a possible option. I think they toyed with the idea of making a move for Ruben Amorim, the former Manchester United manager, but I think he very quickly shut down any talk of a quick return to the Premier League. So at the moment I would make Arbeloa the favourite, but that would be a bit of a gamble, wouldn't it? Didn't work out particularly well for him at the Bernabeu.
Alex, let's move on now to Newcastle United, because they've reportedly rekindled their interest in Manchester City goalkeeper James Trafford.
Yeah, I don't think this interest ever went away, to be honest with you. I wrote about it in my notebook a good few months ago now, that James Trafford very much still a Newcastle target. Obviously the move to Manchester City hasn't worked out as well as he thought, and I feel a bit of sympathy for him. He signed to be the number one, and then literally a few weeks later, 3 games into the season, in comes Gigi Donnarumma, and he finds himself as a bench warmer. I do think Manchester City would be reluctant to sanction a move. They do see him eventually as someone who can take that number 1 jersey, but it's a short career, isn't it? And he's not going to be happy, I think, for another season playing second fiddle to Donnarumma. And it's so difficult as a backup goalkeeper, because the only way you really get into the team is if the number 1 suffers a lack of form, an injury, gets himself suspended. I've got to say Donnarumma's been terrific since he joined Manchester City, but Newcastle definitely in the hunt for a new number 1. Trafford definitely near the top of their list. I wouldn't rule out Carl Rushworth at Brighton either. They've rejected a £20 million bid from Coventry in recent days, and what I think this does mean is that Nick Pope, with a year left on his contract, I think he's very likely to move on, and there's interest from the likes of Leeds and Ipswich in him.
To be fair, Crookie, when I think about James Trafford, I think he's a top goalkeeper. I think he is brilliant. Surely there's a number of clubs, and i.e. Spurs, for instance, that could do with him. For me, I think it can only be a loan. I agree with you. I can't see Man City letting him go. But surely there must be a number of clubs out there that must be looking at that situation thinking, wow, we even for a year, we'd love to take him.
Yeah, Spurs is a great shout, because it's pretty public that they want to move on from Vicario. He will probably leave the club this summer. Interest back in Italy with Inter Milan. Bart Verbruggen at Brighton is another player that I'm told is on their radar. So I think you're right, Newcastle won't get a free run at James Trafford, but he knows about the historic interest. He knows that Eddie Howe has always been a big fan. I wonder if it comes to crunch, might that just help Newcastle get this deal over the line? Big summer for Newcastle. Anthony Gordon's already left. Sandro Tonali is looking to leave. Lewis Hall to Manchester United appears to be gathering momentum. Tino Livramento hasn't signed a new contract, so a lot of established first-team players may well be leaving. It's a huge summer of recruitment for Eddie Howe and Ross Wilson, the new sporting director, because you have to be honest, and even Newcastle fans would say this, they didn't really get their recruitment right this time last year.
Fascinating stuff, Crookie. What's the plan for the rest of the day?
We're going to go and pick up our accreditation to make sure we can get access to Germany against Curacao in Houston at the weekend, and then England-Croatia back here next midweek. We've got that USA Watch party tonight, and producer Ryan, who's trying to produce all kinds of funny content, he's just told me that the restaurant of the guy who invented the frozen margarita is right here in Dallas. We've got to pay that a visit.
Oh, yeah, wow. Of course. Hard life, eh, Alex Crook? Amazing.
Tough job, but someone's got to do it.
Yeah, fantastic stuff there.
Cheers, Crooks.
That's talkSPORT's chief football correspondent, Alex Crook. Fantastic stuff. You were listening to World Cup Game Day live on talkSPORT with me, Rory Jennings, and Darren Bent. Next up, we're bringing you the very best of talkSPORT.
Just one quick domestic story. Being reported that Brighton have made a £30 million offer to Spurs to Luka Vuskovic, who had a brilliant season, was one of the Bundesliga standout players last year. I think the optics of this, with the ownership, everything that went on last season, would be very poor. I mean, apparently it's a £30 million offer, but I just cannot believe Spurs would sell Vuskovic. They might loan him, but they certainly won't be selling him. Because there is potential, and you don't want to get too much hyperbole, but this could be a generational talent that Tottenham have got, and 30's far too cheap.
It's a big call, isn't it, if you're Tottenham, because obviously they're bringing in reinforcements of their own. I think it's going to be a really busy summer, both in terms of incomings and outgoings. But this is a genuine offer from Brighton. I've not been told if it's been accepted or rejected yet. You would imagine it probably will be turned down. Not too many teams accept the first bid that comes their way. I think key. The player fancies the move. He fancies going to play for Fabian Herzl, who probably thinks he'll get more game time at Brighton, more of a pathway into the first team than he would at Tottenham. But you're right. I think the Spurs fans want to see him at some point in a Tottenham shirt playing week in, week out in the Premier League. So I'm intrigued to see how they respond to this offer.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on that. Well, look, keep wearing the hell out of that hat and enjoy the game tonight, Crookie. Thanks for joining us.
Crookie. I will do. Cheers, guys.
Take
Keep
care.
up the good work.
It looks good. There's Alex Crook there over in Dallas, where England will play their first game against Croatia. Luka Vuskovic, who's almost certain to start. I mean, he brings the average age of the Croatian team down by about 60 years because he's 19.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah,
They've got
some player. This
they
kid
shouldn't be underestimated. Croatia. They've still got some.
They've
very
got
good players.
Hello, I'm Matt Fordham from talkSPORT. This is How to Win the World Cup.
This is the best squad I think England have ever had.
He used to love America, now he doesn't. It's very sad.
It was so important to succeed because of all the pressure we received.
Don't jump for this one, I'm going to knock his head off.
Warning, this podcast does not guarantee England will actually win anything.
You are listening to World Cup Game Day live on talkSPORT with me, Rory Jennings and Darren Bent. Brought to you by Enterprise Rent-A-Car, here for it. Book now at enterprise.co.uk. Still to come, we'll be asking, is Scott McTominay genuinely a world-class footballer? But just quickly, Bernardo Silva is set to sign for Real Madrid. And Manchester City have signed Beth Mead on a free transfer from Arsenal. Right, now it's time for this.
Oh, we've got plenty of time to go for the whole team. Like it.
This is the best of talkSPORT and Friends, where we run you through some of the recent highlight moments from across talkSPORT and our sister stations. We're going to kick things off in the Scotland camp, where our very own Shabana Hearn has been chatting to their midfielder, Kenny McLean.
Why is Steve Clark wearing a tracksuit? Is he not feeling that out there?
Well, you can be the one that questions what he's wearing. I'm not questioning the manager, unfortunately. Yeah, I would have less on if I could, but that's his decision, and I will not be questioning the manager.
I'm hot looking at him, not in that way.
Anyone spring to mind, Benty? If we're talking about sort of fashionable footballers, any well-dressed players you've ever played with?
Yeah, there was loads. Scotty Parker was probably the
dapper, isn't he?
Yeah, Scotty Parker, Steve Sidwell, Alan Hutton.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Anyone terrible?
Yeah, there's been loads.
Who?
Pascal Chumbonda.
Really?
Radishan Kishishev.
Terrible.
Yeah.
If you had to swap clothes with one person at talkSPORT, who are you swapping clothes with? Who do you consider
Andy
your
Goldstein?
world-
Andy Goldstein, because I've dressed him. I put him in
Is
that
he-
manner.
Is he your protege?
Yeah.
Your fashion protege?
100%.
A reminder that talkSPORT brings you live commentary of Scotland's opening game against Haiti Sunday morning at 2 a.m.
Over to last night's sports bar, and Dean Saunders was discussing what he gets up to in the bedroom.
The only thing is, I have to lay in the bed dead straight. So the back of my head is it in the board, the headboard, and you know, like babies have a ball patch laying in the cot. I've got a ball patch coming at the back of my head.
What it is, you don't have that.
It'll
either.
get to a
That
stage,
doesn't
though.
exist.
It will get to a stage where you can project films on the back of your head.
Would Dino look good bald?
Yeah, I think so. I think he can get away with it. I think that he now, once you're over the age of about 35, any hair's a victory, isn't it?
Hanging on.
Any hair that you have in your head after the age of 35, you've got to be considered a winner.
Are you worried about going bald?
I've got so many worries, Darren. Is it? I haven't got time. I mean, I guess so, but I've got so many worries ahead of that.
Yeah.
I'm massively overweight. I'm about 5 foot. Like, I haven't got time
You're
to
5
worry
foot?
about that. 5 foot something maybe. But
Who's your favourite Welsh person other than Dino?
my favourite Welsh person.
Other than Dino?
My favourite Welsh
Mark
person,
Hughes?
Mark Hughes. Mark Hughes, one of Chelsea's best ever players. You know that. People don't talk about Mark Hughes in the way they should. Absolute elite player for us. When we won the Winners' Cup in '98. He was just exceptional for us.
Right, a reminder that Majestic and Carlton Cole bring you World Cup Game Day, Sports Bar Weekender tonight from 10.
And let's finish off with the breakfast show. Jason Cundy and Gabby O'Bonnell were joined by Steve, the Chelsea fan.
And as from tonight, me and my old man made a big thing of the World Cup when I was a kid.
Yeah.
So from 78, what I can remember, I was 8 then, all the way through. And we're going to record the games, and we're going to do the following day, we're doing a 10 a.m. kickoff, a 1 p.m. kickoff, and a 7 p.m. kickoff. And during the day, we're going to listen to podcasts and all the rest of it, so we don't catch the results.
When you're sleeping, Steve-O, when do you sleep?
I haven't worked that one out yet, mate. But I like that.
Now that is a hero. That is a genuine icon. That's what I'm after. Somebody that dedicates their life to watching the World Cup. I think it's amazing. Absolutely amazing. What do you reckon to somebody trying to watch every single game of this World Cup?
I say good luck to you, because that is hard. That's going to be some tough going. That you ain't going to sleep much, and you're going to be quite grumpy. But listen, if you could do it, fair play.
Yeah. Do you know what I remember? I remember having a DVD of every goal scored at France '98.
Yeah, okay.
Watched it over and over again. What's the first World Cup you can remember?
94 was the one I remember properly. Yeah, World Cup 94.
Who did you support during that? Because obviously England weren't there.
Brazil. So obviously, I support Brazil. They weren't.
Support Brazil in all of them.
Yeah.
Fair enough. And a reminder that the Weekend Sports Breakfast returns tomorrow morning from 6 a.m. with Max Scott and Tony Cascarino. Of course, you can find all of our shows on the talkSPORT app, where you can swipe between talkSPORT, talkSPORT 2 and all our sister stations, so that you never miss a moment. We are now going to pop to the phone lines, and we're going to speak to Uzziah, who has an opinion on Jude Bellingham. Welcome to the show, Uzziah.
You're right, boys.
Yeah, very, very well, very well. What do you make of this conversation around Jude Bellingham not necessarily feeling the love from the England support?
You know what? I think it's a really, really interesting debate, and I think it was. I think Darren raised the point earlier about American sports versus England sports and how the sort of athletes and stars are treated. Now, I feel like in America, for example, LeBron James, Tom Brady, they're seen as superhuman, something that isn't exactly like a sportsman. They're almost elite.
Yeah.
Now, I think the culture in America is seen as that they're not our level. Like we can never attain that. Whereas in England, I feel like we see them much more on a human and on a personal level, something that we can relate to. So when we see, for example, I know Harry Kane's been getting a lot of stick about not performing on previous World Cups and Euros or whatnot. But I think that's because we treat him more as one of us rather than something that's, superhuman or something out of this world. So I think with that in mind, the criticism that Jude or the lack of love that they've been feeling is more because I think we're more easy to criticize them because we feel like on a level more closer to them. We're not deluded like American fans that, we can never be like that or we can never, I'm not sure.
I see your point. I do see your point. we see our footballers as more relatable, whereas they put their
They're almost like
on a pedestal.
The American superstars are like superheroes. That you almost feels like you're not relatable. You can't get anywhere near them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think, it's a fair point that, maybe we should be treating them on like a different level. I agree with you guys with the money aspect. For example, Marcus Rashford, him getting whatever, 350 grand a week. He has worked hard. He does deserve it. But at the same time, you see other people grinding out 9 to 5 and, not, earning anywhere near that. So I think treating football fans and, how other fans treat other sportsmen, I don't think you can make that comparison straight away. I think you got to understand the English football and, the culture that we have here. We love our players. I'm sure all the boys will get major support when they go for the World Cup. I'm sure, they're not going to feel a lack of love. For example, Saka, at the time he did get a bit of stick for missing the penalty, but the reception and what he got afterwards, I think it's a bit unfair for Bellingham to come out and say, that we don't give him the respect.
Do you know what it is? I think he knows, and that's a great call. I think he knows that he gets the respect and stuff. But listen, part of it might even be from a cultural perspective, because I was just looking there watching the TV as he was talking, making some really good points. And there was an NBA situation where one of the players, I think it was Bronson, was giving an interview, right? Even down to the way he was dressed, right, with the shades on, the hat. If that was in this country,
yeah,
I can remember it like it was yesterday. When Dele Alli signed for Everton on loan, he was on the pitch. He was dressed how he wanted to dress.
I remember it.
People were going absolutely crazy about the tie that he was wearing. And I remember saying at the time, that's irrelevant. What he's wearing is irrelevant. As long as he produces the goods, I know it didn't go that well for him, but if he's producing the goods on the pitch, what has that got to do with anything? Whereas, again, American sports, NBA Finals, the guy's doing a press conference in shades.
Yeah, I think that's kind of seen as being American culture, though. In England, if you're wearing sunglasses indoors, unless you're at a rave, it's a really weird thing to do.
I don't know if it is.
I feel like America. I saw. I think it was Jerry Seinfeld sitting courtside. He was just sort of dressed like a 19-year-old in Hackney.
Yeah,
but that would be
over here.
It'd be weird.
People would criticise it.
Yeah, we're more sneery, but maybe
we are.
Maybe that's
it's not good
right.
It's not a good thing.
No, it's not a good thing. You are listening to World Cup Game Day live with myself, Rory Jennings, and Darren Bent. Still to come, we'll be joined by talkSPORT's Shabana Hearn as Scotland's starman Scott McTominay returns to training.
What about the World Cup? Is the US of A ready for the World Cup? I went out with producer Luke and assistant producer Joe in the streets of Lower Manhattan yesterday, and we kind of gauged the feeling. You lot ready for this?
I think the country will probably be most into it right in the group stage, because that's probably when we're going to do the best, unfortunately. I think there are great soccer towns in America. I'm not sure New York is one of them.
Not that much this year, to be honest. With the Knicks in the finals, I think that's taken the attention of the city.
It doesn't sound like they're buying tickets, so, only so much. Yeah. They're not really buying into it. Did they not sell out the first game? Is that what I heard?
I don't follow soccer that much, so no. And then as a person that lives here, it's going to be quite disruptive for us, so, but hey, should be a good event, hopefully.
Yeah, I think it's at MetLife Stadium, so there's a lot of attraction there. The Giants play there, the Jets play there, so there's going to be a lot of people flying in from overseas to check out the games for sure. Yeah.
So it's the biggest World Cup ever. Might it be the best World Cup ever?
I hope so. Yeah. Right now it's just Knicks, but we'll get to the World Cup when we get there.
You gotta watch something. You gotta support everybody.
Okay, and the USA are in it. Obviously, they're one of the host nations.
But we ain't gonna win.
No? Who'll win it?
More likely gonna be Spain.
Yeah, probably. How's Birmingham, Alabama?
Hot, mosquitoes, a lot of loud talking people.
Hot Birmingham, Alabama. Wow, as the song goes.
That's where you can say howdy, y'all.
Howdy, y'all. I'll remember that next time when I'm down in that part of the world. Do you think this place is ready for it?
Yeah, I've been around to a lot of the cities now, most of them actually, and they're ready. This is a little bit different here just because the Knicks are in the final. If the Knicks weren't in the final, it would be a...
It's 2010, and the Goalkeepers Union is up in arms. Why? This thing, the Jabulani, perhaps the most famous World Cup match ball for moving, it seemed, in 3 directions at once. But that wasn't the first match ball row, not by a long shot. In 1930, the World Cup final began with a fight, not between the players, but about the ball. Argentina brought theirs, and Uruguay brought theirs, and when neither backed down, they played 45 minutes with each. Uruguay, with the T model, came out on top. This was the era when balls were heavy. They were classics, sure, but they could double in weight during a thunderstorm. Before we go on, I will tell you that the 1962 ball was called Mr. Crack. A ball that was so heavy when wet, several European teams refused to use it. Instead, the 1958 Top Star was used, most famously for the quarter-final between Czechoslovakia and Hungary. By '66, we had the Slazenger Challenge. Because people watched They Think It's All Over in black and white, we forget the ball was actually bright orange or red, whatever that colour is. But it looked like a floating smudge to people at home. The World Cup match ball needed a makeover. Enter the Telstar. 32 black and white panels. It was stylish, it was modern, and it meant goalkeepers could finally see the thing that was about to ruin their afternoon. It was also the start of an Adidas monopoly. 1986 was the dawn of a new age. The Azteca was the first fully synthetic ball, meaning it didn't soak up water. Recently, though, things have got weird. 2002 gave us the FIFA Nova, basically a high-tech frisbee, and then, of course, the Jabulani. Today, the balls have internal sensors that tell the VAR room if someone breathed on it. We've come a long way. But the ball's not the main thing, is it, FIFA? It's just a ball.
You're listening to World Cup Game Day on talkSPORT with me, Rory Jennings, and Darren Bent. Still to come, we'll be talking to Adrian Durham ahead of Canada against Bosnia live on talkSPORT tonight. But now, before we look ahead to Scotland's World Cup opener this weekend, we have a little bit of breaking news. The statement reads, FIFA can confirm that player Thomas Partey will be unable to travel from Ghana's team base in Boston, USA, to Canada for their first match against Panama on Wednesday, the 17th of June, as his visa application has been refused by the Canadian government. FIFA is not involved in the immigration processes of host countries, including the adjudication of visas. As with previous FIFA events, the host government ultimately determines who receives a visa and is admitted into the country. We get more on this story shortly with talkSPORT's Ben Jacobs. Right, it's time to get an update from the Scotland camp, thanks to Burger King.
Scotland Camp Update on talkSPORT. Brought to you by Burger King Burger Buddies. Total tournament satisfaction. Delivered by the experts. Order now on the BK app.
Scotland are going to the World Cup finals. Kenny McLean has launched the ball over the head of Kasper Schmeichel.
Here now, when he focus on the here and now. We know how special this can be for us.
I think this is the best group of players we've had for a number of years.
Collins against Taffarel. Vital for Scotland. And he finds the corner.
1998, Brazil and Morocco was a group, so what's the chances of that?
To qualify for the World Cup, the first time in what is it, 27 years?
Battle away, yeah. You know, I think Steve Clarke has got a great spirit there.
Every game's big in the World Cup. Every game's big in a qualifying tournament. You have to get the points required to get you into the next stage. We haven't managed to do that.
Now the expectation will be shifted to, right, let's see what you've got now.
And I can't wait for just being able to go with your country, go with your mates, and represent your country. It's something so special. And
I feel incredibly proud to be involved and just buzzing as well. I can't wait to get going.
And Scotland are coming. The Tartan Army have received their call-up papers and they're ready to go.
Oh, that's right. Scotland get their World Cup underway against Haiti live on talkSPORT at 2 a.m. on Sunday morning. And they'll be boosted by the fact that Scott McTominay is back in training after missing a session with a stomach issue. Former Scotland midfielder Charlie Adam was in the studio yesterday afternoon alongside former England right-back Kyle Walker, and Charlie was asked how key Scott McTominay will be this summer.
Seeing him as a central midfielder, I think where he plays for Scotland suits him. Where he doesn't, I think he's loose in terms of his positional sense, and he wants to go and chase and he wants to get but if you're a midfielder and you do that, you just open the space up. So I think him playing higher up allows him to use his legs and energy at the top end. Scored a few good goals. Talk about world class players, that's a word we use loosely, I think now. Very good player, very good player, but I don't see world class. But he took that step away from Manchester United, went to Napoli, and he's been a revelation for them. But he's been brilliant for Scotland, and hopefully he can have a good tournament, because that disappointment of the last tournament, we have to get over that to then go again.
Scott McTominay, world class. Darren Bent, what do you reckon?
No, I think Charlie said there best. Like, we throw around the world class tag so often, it's actually quite embarrassing. Like, Scott McTominay is a very, very good player, and he's turned himself. He went from a good player, because I think you don't play for Manchester United. I don't care what anyone tells me. If you're just like, I know they're going to say we've had average players play for it, but you have to be at a certain level to get to that type of club. He's gone to Napoli and turned himself into a very, very good footballer, like a very effective footballer. But when you start to when I think about growing up world class, right, like this is where the terminology is so loosely kind of thrown about. So growing up, if you just said to me, right, give me 5 world class players off the top of my head at the time, I'd have gone Ronaldinho, Brazilian R9, some other things, some Shevchenko, AC Milan Shevchenko, Paolo Maldini. Do you know what I mean? These level of players, you know what I mean? Like, we go, oh my goodness, like these are. But all of a sudden now it's like we're scratching around, and the moment someone has a couple of good seasons, it's like, yeah, he's world class him.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that there are so many players that have played in the Premier League that are obviously better than Scott McTominay has ever been, that we don't see as being world class. But because Scott McTominay is doing it in Napoli, he's doing it in Naples, I think there is a glamour associated with that. I think Antonio Conte being the manager adds a certain glitz. People have gone far too big with it. I also think people like to go big with it because it's not great for Manchester United, is it, to be losing players that then go on to be world class.
But that's the thing. He's very, very good. And what he's done, and again, I think he deserves all the credit in the world, because like him and Fred, what do they call McFred in the middle of the park for Man United? What the conversation was, and he would always try for Manchester United. He'd always give 100%, but they used to say he lacked quality, and that was the problem Manchester United had in that particular area of the pitch. He's gone to Napoli. Antonio Conte's found this role for him. He has turned himself, hard work, dedication, inner belief. He has turned himself into a very, very, very good footballer that has had magic moments. Now, probably none bigger than that one he did for Scotland to qualify, and the overhead kick. In that moment there, that typified to me where Scott McTominay is right now in terms of mentally. He's almost got this arrogance about him now, like, do you know what? I can go up against anyone, and I love that. But then to throw him in the world class bracket, like Kevin De Bruyne for me was world class. He's not in that bracket.
Gareth Barry wasn't, and Gareth Barry was a better player than Scott McTominay.
Yes.
James Milner wasn't world class, but James Milner was a better player.
Exactly, and different with Milner, but you understand what I'm getting. Like Scott Parker, not world class,
but a better player than Scott McTominay.
Exactly that.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much the nail on the head. But if Scotland are to have any success in this tournament,
he's going to be at the heart of it.
Completely reliant upon him, isn't it? He is the driving force of that team.
He certainly is. I mean, they've got other good players, and we said to Charlie yesterday, and he said about the squad being as good and as deep as he's ever known it. But Scott McTominay, just big moments.
If he were to come back, Premier League, what sort of Premier League club? So if you think he doesn't get in the Arsenal side,
no.
Arsenal wouldn't be linked with Scott McTominay if he was for sale.
Man City wouldn't.
Man City, any interest, do you think?
No, I don't think Man United either.
Liverpool?
Nope.
Aston Villa?
I think Villa could, because I think Unai Emery would look at that and go, do you know what? He's my type of footballer.
Yeah.
He's got quality, but not only that, he can get about, he can score a goal, he's dynamic. I think, definitely that. Newcastle, yep.
Yeah.
I think there are a number of, I think pretty much Tottenham would absolutely...
Tottenham 100%, yeah.
See, Tottenham would, but I almost feel like they've got players like Conor Gallagher is like him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I like Conor
Gallagher. I could imagine Tottenham fans being slightly underwhelmed as well.
Yeah.
I could imagine their fans not necessarily...
But do you know where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
The Conor Gallagher type, role type.
Energy.
Yes. So, but I think whoever got him, and I'm saying, like, a Europa League side downwards probably, I think he'd be a good side.
Yeah, I agree. Right, let's focus on Scotland's chances this summer. Haiti, Morocco, Brazil. Not ideal. It's a tough group, don't you think?
Yeah, really tough. Like, I mean, you can't put no bones about it. Group C, but I think they've got the best start in Haiti because
it's ideal that they're playing them first.
They didn't want Brazil, Morocco, and then Haiti. Do you know what I mean? If they could somehow beat Haiti, right, first game of the season, then I think it's a great start. Now, Haiti obviously got beaten their last warm-up game. I think it was against Peru, and they smashed New Zealand 4-0 before that. But Scotland would have looked at that group and gone, Haiti first. If they can just get past Haiti, get a win, then all of a sudden that puts pressure on the others because Brazil and Morocco may cancel each other out, so that's only 1 point. Then all of a sudden those two, I know 3 from each group go through, but I think Scotland have got the best start.
With that in mind, one win could see you, look, you have to be in the top 8 third places.
Mm-hmm.
One win could see you there. 4 points will almost definitely get you into the next round.
Yeah, 100%. So it is not out of this world that they beat Haiti and get a nick a point against Brazil or Morocco. That could easily happen.
Do you think they get through? Do you think they get through?
I do, yeah.
Do you think they beat Haiti? They have to, Darren.
I think they will. But do you know, I just like this new energy come from Scotland. Like for such a long time, it was. I almost feel like with Scotland, when you listen to people that are involved in the Scottish FA and people that are connected to Scotland football, at one point or other, it was like, can we qualify? Can we just qualify and then we've done the job? I almost feel like this Scotland squad now with Steve Clarke in charge is thinking, do you know what? Yes, they don't think they're going to win it, but hey, we can get out of the group.
But I think they should be getting out. I think the ambition should be to get out.
100%.
Yeah, I think they should as well. And on some level, I could live with them doing it. Or do you want them to?
Oh yeah, I don't mind Scotland doing it. I'm not one of these supporters that are like, do you know what I mean? So like, no, I hate Scotland, I hate Wales. No, if Scotland get out, we're buzzing. Happy for them.
Fair enough. That was a Scotland update.
You don't. Do you know what? That's why you asked that question. You don't. You don't want them to throw.
I find it very difficult because I know that they don't want us to do well.
That doesn't bother me.
That bothers me.
Why?
Because I'm petulant. I'm petulant and petty. If they were a bit nicer about England, I'd be a bit nicer about them. But they don't. They actively don't want England to do well.
So you don't want them to do well. You don't.
No, it's reciprocal. Look, if they would say, do you know what? When you kick off your tournament, when you're playing in Texas, I hope you beat Croatia. I say, do you know what? I hope you beat Haiti. But I know they won't say that, therefore.
Do you want to get smashed every week?
Yeah. Yeah.
See, why are you skirting around it? Skirting around. Just say it with your chest.
Yeah, to be totally honest, yeah, that's exactly where I sit on it. But that was a Scotland camp update, all thanks to Burger King.
Scotland Camp Update on talkSPORT. Brought to you by Burger King Burger Buddies. Iconic winners delivered in the box every time. Order now on the BK app.
Right, up next we are taking your calls. 03717 223344. How highly do you rate Scott McTominay and what level do you think he would be if he were to sign for a Premier League side? You're listening to World Cup Game Day on talkSPORT. Next up, we're heading to Boston to speak to our very own Shabana Hearn.
Lot going on back in the UK, of course, and we're right across the lot. We mentioned earlier that Martin O'Neill has been installed at Celtic. Just in the passing, you pleased for him? 1 year deal, Simon.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think Martin, the only person that would have talked him out of that circumstance is Martin. So I think probably Martin would do a 1 with a rolling year.
Yeah.
So that puts him in a situation where you can see how he feels in a year's time. I don't even know why it was a conversation. I don't even know why it was a debate about whether Martin O'Neill should stay in place. I think it's the least they could have offered him. I hope they've remunerated him properly, and I hope that he continues to build on his legacy, because I like him. Now, obviously, I don't know where you sat on it. I think I know where you sat on it. Nobody wanted Celtic to win besides Celtic fans, because we wanted Hearts to win.
Well, that would have been the story, yeah.
Yeah.
But the Celtic story was a great one, too.
Martin did his job.
Yeah.
I mean, he did his job. He went in there and he galvanised Celtic. And so the discussion about whether Martin O'Neill should be given a new contract perplexed me. Besides the fact he kept on telling everyone how bloody knackered he was.
Actually, Brad Friedel's with us, as he will be here in New York. Brad, whatever happened to Wilfred Nancy? Do we know? He came back here with his tail between his legs, having been a major flop in his short time in charge at Celtic.
I'll tell you, very similar. I came over here and I was the head coach of New England Revolution. I found it very difficult to go from the professionalism of the Premier League this way. I couldn't wrap my head around it. I was too stubborn to stay in my own professionalism. I wouldn't adapt to where the level of MLS was.
Steve Nicol was there for a while as well, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was there with, and then Jay Heaps and then myself.
And Paul Merritt as well.
I think what Wilfred did, he adapted to the US culture and he went over there. When you go to a club like Celtic and you hear his first interview, I don't care about the results, it's how we play. No. Results matter, and the fans will actually put up with you playing poorly if you're winning the matches for a certain amount of time. So I think he found that change going to that type of club very, very difficult.
Yeah.
With Martin, I played for Martin for 2 years at Villa. He's the boss. He knows what he's doing. When I first got there, it was a...
Hello, I'm Matt Forden from talkSPORT. This is How to Win the World Cup.
This is the best squad I think England have ever had.
He used to love America, now he doesn't. It's very sad.
It was so important to succeed because of all the pressure we received.
Don't jump for this one, I'm going to knock his head off.
Warning, this podcast does not guarantee England will actually win anything.
You are listening to World Cup Game Day live on talkSPORT with me, Rory Jennings, and Darren Bent. Brought to you by Burger King Burger Buddies. Total tournament satisfaction delivered by the experts. Order now on the BK app. Still to come, we're going to be testing Benty's Portuguese in our end of show quiz. But just quickly, PSG could try to sign Michael Olise from Bayern Munich this summer. Atletico Madrid are set to open talks with Chelsea over signing Marc Cucurella. It's an interesting one. What do you reckon?
What's your thoughts on that? You're obviously Chelsea man and that, Mark.
I don't love Cucurella the way some do.
He's good though.
He's a good player. He's a good player. But do you know what? As soon as you start making eyes at other clubs, when we needed him to be totally focused on Chelsea, like, do you know when things were going wrong when Liam Rossini was the manager?
Yeah.
He's flirting with Barcelona.
Yeah.
Like, stop! What are you doing? Like, you're one of the senior players in the
Did Enzo
squad.
do that though?
Enzo Fernandez did exactly the same thing. Treachery from him. He's talking about Real Madrid. Marc Cucurella is talking about Barcelona. We're like, Chelsea haven't scored a goal in 5 games. Do you two, who are the senior players in the team, do you two want to focus, please?
Yeah.
So once you've done that, if you don't want to play for Chelsea, I don't want you to play for Chelsea.
How much would you be willing to accept for him?
Cucurella? I mean, whilst I think I think there are limitations to his game. I don't rate him as highly as everyone else. He is one of the better left backs around at the moment. So I think that has to be factored into the price.
A Euros winner.
He's a Euros winner as well. I think he'd be expensive.
80 mil?
Something like that, yeah. 77, between 70 and 80.
That's mad, isn't it?
But it has gone wild. You know, when we're talking about the price that footballers go for, it has just gone wild, hasn't it? The amount of money that players move for is really, really dear.
Someone's put a point here, but Bentley, I agree with that Scott isn't world class, but there's more to come from him. In comparison, would you call Bale world class? He wasn't at Spurs, but shone in an unbelievable Madrid side. He was world class at Spurs. Those 2 seasons he had where he won PFA Player of the Year and he destroyed Inter Milan on his own.
No, Gareth Bale's world class Premier League player.
Yeah,
like, that's why he got the move.
100%.
That is why he got the move. And Scotland boss Steve Clarke has been speaking to the media ahead of their opening group game against Haiti live on talkSPORT. And he was asked by our very own Shabana Ahern how he manages expectations within the squad.
First time in 28 years that we've been there. I think first time for Haiti since 1974. They're also a proud nation. They're going to be here 100% committed, the same as we are. And we know that they have qualities that can cause us problems on the pitch. So we have to deal with those problems, and then we have to try and bring our best game to the pitch when we have the ball. And if we can do that, then hopefully that's enough to win the game.
And we are delighted now that Shabana Ahern joins us live from the United States. Shaban, how are you?
Rory, Benty, hi, how are you? We're in the press room just now. Steve and Andy Robertson left us about half hour ago. So yeah, we're just getting all of the information back to you guys. But I have to say, Steve Clarke's a different guy at the minute. He's all smiles. He's making jokes about himself. He's talking about, making sure we don't get humped like we did it against Germany at the Euros. I have to say, really refreshing press conference, especially on match day -1 when the heat is really on.
To finish, before we get to all that, we had a conversation earlier about Scotland, and Rory suggested that he'd like to see Scotland get smashed every single game, which I thought was a little bit harsh. I just wanted your comments on that before we talk about
Bertie Smalls, Benty. I can't believe grassing.
I just wonder what our thoughts were.
You were better than that. No one likes a grass.
Well, listen, I have ears and I did listen to it, Rory, to be fair. Listen, we don't care what you think. Honestly, just your little crybaby tears about what you want to happen to us instead of focusing on yourself. I've had a lot of people out here when you're standing around with the talkSPORT mic come up and go, oh, we want Scotland to do so well. And then you'll find the odd English person who wants Scotland to fail. That's healthy rivalry. It really doesn't bother me. It really, really doesn't. The thing is, I actually think England will do really well in this tournament. I think you could go to a final. I think you've got the quality to win it. Whether you deal with the conditions is another thing altogether. But Scotland, for us, where we are so excited is that it feels like we've got a real opportunity to get out of a group. It feels we've got the opportunity to win our first World Cup game since 1990. Guys, that's how long it's been since we've won a game at a World Cup. So our expectations, our hopes are so different to what England's are, and it's incredibly different. And that's where banter is funny. I can handle it. I think it's brilliant. We know where we stand in comparison to England. So keep the healthy rivalry up, and I hope you get stuffed in a final.
I love it, Shabazz. Superb. Obviously, if you are to find that elusive win in this tournament, Scott McTominay is going to be at the epicentre of it. You must be so relieved to see him back in training.
Yeah, earlier on we arrived at the open training session. Obviously now we're in Foxborough, so we're at the home of the New England Patriots just now. And the lads were across the road at open training, and I was bursting for a wee, too much information. But anyway, I managed a lovely lady let me in, and I saw him. He was standing there, and he looked $1 million. Because he's had this full glow up, hasn't he, since Napoli? Yeah. He looks absolutely incredible. He looked healthy, he had colour in his cheeks, whatever like that. He came out and trained with the guys. So that was, I think, just the heat, probably a bit of dodgy tummy going on. It's fine. We've all had it, I think, when you get here with the heat and stuff like that. He's absolutely brand new. And Steve Clarke was actually asked about, the importance of having Scott McTominay and how he is Scotland's superstars. And Steve was very much so like, yeah, he's unbelievable, but I feel that I've got 25 more of them. This is going to be a squad World Cup. The people who finish the game are just as important as those who start the game.
Shaban, I've got to ask you, because you've been watching Scotland for obviously a long time now, and I asked Charlie Adams the same question yesterday, right? Yeah. McTominay, since he left Manchester United, he has turned himself into a superstar. He's playing that well for Napoli. Did you see this version of McTominay ever appearing?
It's funny, Benty, because, as a Celtic fan, a Man United fan as well, especially in our house, I've always liked Scott McTominay. I didn't want him to leave because he's a player who's always going to give it 100%. He's all heart. And he always left it out there on the pitch. And I mean, I'm not just saying that now he's going to Napoli and become a star. I really think he was a star, but it's that pressure. You'll know more, you know, especially then of playing at a club at Manchester United where the weight of the shirt is so heavy. But I think what he's done to go away to Napoli, and we were discussing this last night, and I know people get ahead of themselves, but I've been in Naples since McTominay won the Scudetto, and the amount of people who are obsessed with him. You see him on little murals in the walls. There's little shrines to Scott McTominay. Nobody can rival that of Maradona. But if there's somebody who's just about getting there, who's just kind of starting to show that godlike status in Naples, it is Scott McTominay. You know, this boy who plays for Scotland. So we're very, very proud of him. We're very excited. Obviously, you can't help but think about the overhead kick as well in that game against Denmark, and then take your pick of the goals that night. There were 3 absolutely excellent goals in that game. We won 4-2. But McTominay's overhead kick, what he's done at Naples, the kind of guy that he presents himself as, we're absolutely in love with him. So pleased that he's fit and available and that tummy bug has passed, because it would have been a nightmare if he wasn't part of it.
Absolutely, Shaban. And, you know, Lancashire-born Scott McTominay might take you into the next round.
Oh, you are something else, aren't you? You're a salty wee man. And I say it all the time, you truly are a salty little man. I'm getting kicked out of this press room, guys, so I'll probably have to go in a minute. But anything else you'd like to insult me about
I must just declare, just so you know, Shaban, as much as I enjoyed presenting that to you, that nugget of information was courtesy of Mr. Adrian Durham.
Yeah, no, this is classic Adrian as well. It's healthy, guys. It's good for us. It keeps us on the ground. It keeps us focused. But you know what you want? You want people who love to wear the Scotland top. He's so proud. You know, he's a patriotic guy now. So that's it. I mean, my sister plays for the Republic of Ireland. She wouldn't have it any other way. Yeah. You know, because when you become part of it and you adopt the culture, you get right in about it. You know the fans. You know the nation. You know the people. That is what it's all about. And Scott is that guy for us. So yeah, I mean, we're proud. We're proud he's ours. Haha, you lost out. Have that.
Shaban, thank you so much. And I can't wait to speak to you next week after Haiti smash Scotland.
That's not going to happen.
Really great to talk to you, Shaban. Right, still to come. We're going to be testing Benty's Portuguese in the end of show quiz. But first, it's time for No Googling. We want to know who is the only player to score 3 headers in one World Cup match. The only player to score 3 headers in one World Cup match. We'll tell you after this.
What is interesting there, I think, is that Bellingham is saying the group didn't connect as well as it could have done. Why is he saying that?
As a deflection. Listen, every player knows where they stand. I'm going to give a story, but I'm not going to say the name of the player because that would be wrong. But I will say it was Martin O'Neill because he won't mind me saying this. Okay. You'll get enjoyment. There was a player who came into the Aston Villa changing room, and he was like, "I need to talk to the manager." And us as players were like, "Yeah, you got to go talk to him. You got to go talk to him," because we knew kind of how it was going to go. So he bursts in there and he knocks on the door and he's all bold and brave. And then Martin O'Neill goes, "What? How can I help you?" And he goes, "I need to know where I stand." He goes, "You haven't played for me and kicked the ball for me in 3 months. You know exactly where I stand. Now turn around and get out of my office." Players know where they stand. If you're starting, you know where you stand in the manager's eyes. Yeah. If you're a substitute, you know that the manager does like you, but maybe he thinks in formation or whatever, that's something else. If you're not playing, you know also exactly where you stand.
The memo's clear. I mean, the interesting thing is that it's you get an insight into the psyche of a player, but the most important thing is the follow-up question to what he says. And there isn't a follow-up question. There's just a one-way transaction of we needed to feel loved, we needed to feel, you know, in a certain way, and we didn't connect together, and perhaps we didn't celebrate wins as much as we should have done. Well, there's a real, that's the nature of the beast. That's the society that we live in. Sometimes things are taken for granted, and it's the criticism that comes more readily than the praise. But if you're a team, do you want to be in a big team that has expectations of you? Do you want to play for a big club like Real Madrid that has expectations of you? I would imagine he'd spend more time complaining about playing for Real Madrid and the expectations upon him as a Real Madrid player than he would playing for his country.
Right.
And the challenge to that sort of question should be, well, what is it you expect of a manager? What is it you expect of people that are supporting you? Because you are lauded and applauded and revered.
Yes.
I think it's to do with a lot of... you heard rumours coming out of that camp last in the Euros about who didn't want to do press conferences, who didn't want to come up for this, who didn't want to come up that. Harry Kane apparently had an issue about Jude Bellingham not doing enough public appearances and all that sort of stuff. That might be gossip, and some of that might be right. But that should not be an insulation.
Watford say Kenny Jackett was instrumental in some of their greatest successes. Jackett, who also managed Wolves and Millwall, has died aged 64. Now, do players really need love from those outside international camps? That was a suggestion from Jude Bellingham, but Brad Friedel says players should strive for respect. The former USA goalkeeper reckons the best managers and coaches can give both.
This is why a manager like Pep Guardiola is so good, because I don't care what you think. This is my way. And then he got backed by upstairs, and then he was able to create a monster. That's why Sir Alex Ferguson was so successful.
England face Croatia live on talkSPORT next Wednesday, while Scotland get going live on talkSPORT at 2 a.m. Sunday morning. Now, Ipswich Chief Exec Mark Ashton says he'd be very surprised to see Kieran McKenna pop up in another job this summer. Ashton believes McKenna's decision to step down is genuinely about rest.
I felt he was being really honest and really genuine with me, and he needed to take some time and breathe to come back again at a later date. And it felt right. It was sincere.
And Beth Mead has signed a 3-year contract with WSL champions Man City. Last month, Mead left Arsenal after 10 seasons and over 150 appearances.
You are listening to World Cup Game Day on talkSPORT with me, Rory Jennings and Darren Bent. Now, a few moments ago, we brought you the last of this evening's no Googling questions. We asked, who is the only player to score 3 headers in one World Cup match? Benty, do you know the answer?
Who did he play for?
He played for Germany, but that gives it away.
Muller.
Incorrect.
Miroslav Klose.
Correct. It was always one of 2, and you got there at the second attempt.
Gomez, he was a decent striker for Germany.
That's true. They've had a fair
Was it Mario Gomez, was it?
Yeah, they've had a fair few. Following us from 7 p.m. tonight, Adrian Durham hosts live coverage of Canada against Bosnia. And would you believe it, Adrian Durham joins us now to look ahead to it all. Good evening, Adrian, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon. Do you know what? I don't know. I don't think I should talk to you, Rory, really, because you just threw me under the bus with Shabana.
Yeah, snitch.
If there's anybody who you shouldn't throw me under the bus with, it's Shabana Hearn, because you know
You don't need to be on her hit list, do you? Which I already am.
Yeah. No. I've just given you a little bit of information. You didn't have to name me.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. It's. Do you know what I thought I was doing there, Adrian? I thought that I was giving you like the commendation that you deserved. I thought it was a great bit of information at the perfect delivered at the perfect time. It was an assist. It was an assist for a tap-in.
Part of me really wants Scotland to actually win the World Cup with the winner from Scott McTominay, because it would actually be England's World Cup. So I'll go with that, yeah.
Fair enough. So the game you're covering tonight, the full group is Canada, Bosnia, Qatar and Switzerland. We heard from Kevin Hatchard earlier, and he seems to think that Bosnia could surprise a few people at this World Cup. Would you agree with that?
Well, it surprised me, but listen, how can anybody challenge the word of talkSPORT's European expert, Kev Hatchard? I've got high hopes for Canada in this group, not just because they're the hosts. We all want the hosts to do well generally at tournaments. I think that's the mantra, and I can understand why. This is the first ever World Cup game, FIFA World Cup game, to be played on Canadian soil. Jesse Marsh has got something going there. A lot of it is kind of off the field, and he rallies the country behind the team, and he stood up to Donald Trump. And there's a lot to love about Jesse Marsh's leadership of this Canadian side. So I think he's got to translate all of that into a really credible performance at this World Cup. I mean, if they finish bottom of the group, then that will be an absolute disaster. I cannot see that happening, by the way, and I think today's game is crucial. They've got to make a statement, Canada, and it is a tough one. You're right. I mean, Kev's right. Bosnia have got they've got weapons, they've got some tools, they've got some know-how. So I think that this is going to be a key game in the group.
Ade, who do you make the outright favourite to go through in this group?
I think it's a great question because, I mean, you're looking at it and thinking that Canada, as the host, should be among the favourites. They got to the semi-finals of the Copa America, but when you dig deeper into that, they didn't actually really beat anybody. Venezuela on penalties to get through the quarter-final, for example. They lost twice to Argentina, no disgrace in that, and they weren't battered in either game, but it's hard to work out. Semi-finals of the Copa America sounds great, but then when you boil it all down and realise, actually, they didn't really beat anybody substantial, you're kind of thinking, well, are they that great? They've got some work to do to get out of the group. I think we know that. But I don't know. Switzerland, for me, should, in my mind, win the group. But I actually think it's one of those unpredictable groups.
Adrian, I've seen some amazing pictures coming in from Canada. The Canadian fans marching to the stadium. It looks tribal. It looks passionate. It looks really good. How is the atmosphere building?
Oh, they're well up for it. Thousands walking through the streets. There's red smoke. They're dressed in Canadian furs and stuff. It's just sensational. They really are. I mean, listen, I don't know if you know any Canadians or how many times you've been to Canada, but these are chilled people generally, but they're just happy people generally. And obviously, it's a generalisation, but when the nation comes together for something like this, the Canadians feel proud of what they're doing. So they've taken to the streets in the march to the match. Bosnia fans are out there in numbers as well. Be a lot of expats there too, and they've been marching to the match. And guess what? They've met each other en route, and they've both been very happy. There's been no clashes. There's been no confrontation, as far as I'm aware, anyway. And it's all been a very happy occasion, and that's how it should be for your first FIFA World Cup game on Canadian soil. It should be remembered as a happy occasion. So long may that continue. But you're right. They come out in force, Canada. I think they've been waiting to make some sort of statement, do something on the world stage as far as soccer's concerned, football's concerned, for a long time. Today is that day. This is the game when Canada makes its football statement.
Yeah, it's going to be fascinating to see. In your opinion, Adrian, the three host nations, which nation do you think will go the furthest?
Not the USA. Because I just don't think they're particularly good. I don't think they're particularly together. If they are to go far, they've got to have a coming together and galvanise themselves. I just don't see it happening, bearing in mind how bad some of their results have been. I think there's too much going on there for them to rectify before this tournament gets underway for them, which is very soon, of course. But Mexico, I think, have got it in them. I don't think they were that impressive, and they really should have battered South Africa yesterday. They've missed an opportunity to ramp up their goal difference against 9 men for a lot of the game. So, but I do think Mexico might be the ones to go furthest. You know, if they stay in Mexico, there's a danger that South Korea might win the group and therefore stay in Mexico City at the Azteca. So that's got to be taken into account. But I would say Mexico of the three would go further. But it's so difficult to predict because depending where you finish in the group, depends where you then go and who you then play. And it's, with all these third places so unknown until the last day of the group stage, it's so difficult to predict.
Adrian Darren, the voice of live football, thank you so much for finding the time to talk to us.
Cheers.
Cheers, Aid. Cheers. And Adrian will, of course, be following us at 7 p.m. tonight. Now, a little earlier on, we brought you the news that Ghana midfielder Thomas Partey has been denied access to Canada and is therefore unavailable for their opening game against Panama next week. For more on this, we're joined by talkSPORT's US reporter, Ben Jacobs. How are you, Ben?
Hello, guys. How are you?
Yeah, very well, very well. For those just tuning in, can you bring us up to date with this Thomas Partey news? What's happened and what does it mean for his World Cup?
So Thomas Partey has been denied entry into Canada for their World Cup opener, which is against Panama on Wednesday of next week, the 17th of June. The other two games take place in America. One of them, of course, is against England in Boston, then Croatia in Philadelphia. Now, the immigration process is country to country. So Canada have denied Partey his visa. FIFA confirm that news to talkSPORT, but say they play no part in the immigration process. And in addition, anything visa related, including challenging a denied visa, is out of their remit. And it's not thought that there's any form of appeal or expedited case that is going to change this. It's in light of the fact that Thomas Partey has been charged with 5 counts of rape last year and 1 charge of sexual assault. And then in February of this year, a further 2 counts of rape. So 8 charges in total, of which 7 of them are rape. Partey has pleaded not guilty to all of them and is still awaiting trial. Now, what's interesting is the rules around immigration state that there is grounds to deny somebody entry if they are charged of a criminal offence, and that is the case with Partey, and yet he's still awaiting trial. And as a consequence, Partey was under the impression, as were Ghana, speaking to sources, that the paperwork would allow him to play at this World Cup in full. And yet Canada have decided they've got dispensation to deny Partey entry. We've approached those in America in immigration departments to find out whether or not Partey might not be able to play in the other 2 games. At the moment, those within the Ghana camp say Partey has the paperwork to enter and play in America, and it's not expected to be removed. But of course, from Canada's perspective, it's a different set of rules and a totally different adjudication process. So as of now, Partey will not be able to play against Panama, but he will still be eligible for the games against England and Croatia.
Ben, thank you so much for that update. You're obviously out in LA for us for this World Cup. What's the plan for you today?
So it's the US's first game, so we've got a busy day, plain and simple. 6 o'clock Eastern, it is live on talkSPORT. It's the US men's national team against Paraguay. Team news-wise, I'm told Chris Richards is going to be fit for the game. A lot of debate about the #1 goalkeeper. The feeling is it's going to be Matt Freese over Matt Turner, although Pochettino wasn't giving anything away yesterday. Paraguay, remember, without Julio Enciso, so important for them. He was injured in the build-up to the tournament. So we're going to be going down first to the opening ceremony at SoFi Stadium. That includes the rapper, Future, and also Katy Perry. It's roughly a 90-minute opening ceremony. Not attending Donald Trump, which is a little bit of a surprise, although Marco Rubio will be representing the White House, as will Andrew Giuliani, who I spoke to exclusively yesterday. He's the executive director of the White House task force for the 2026 FIFA World Cup. And then after all of that fanfare, the game kicks off at 6 o'clock local time, so in the early hours of the morning UK, 8-hour time difference between here and the UK. Make sure you tune in because it's live and full, as is every game of this FIFA World Cup on talkSPORT. And then of course afterwards we'll have all of our post-match interviews and reaction, and then relatively sharpish in the next few days we head off to Seattle, where the US men's national team changed locations, and their second game is at Lumen Field against Australia, and that should be a great one, and there's plenty of Aussie fans, I'm told, already out in full force.
Amazing work, Ben. Thank you very much for the update. Right, we are now going to head to Edgbaston, where England's women are currently taking on Sri Lanka in the T20 World Cup. John Norman is watching that one for talkSPORT. John, what's the latest?
Yeah, good evening to you. Well, for all the talk this week of curfews and suspensions, interim captains, retirements, what price the first match of the Women's T20 World Cup might get a mention? How angry must the ECB that one of the premier women's cricket events has been completely overshadowed? But there we go. Yep, you want an update from the cricket? Thankfully, there is some. It is England against Sri Lanka. It's Sri Lanka who've won the toss and decided to bowl first. Good crowd in at Edgbaston, but not a full house. That's a bit of a surprise and a disappointment, but beautiful early evening sun in Birmingham. We've had 2 overs of the match so far. We've got Danny Wyatt-Hodge and Amy Jones back at the top of the batting order, and England hopeful, much like the England men's football team, of success in this home tournament. And in the first match of it, they're 16 without loss.
Lovely stuff. Thanks very much, John Norman. Now, don't forget, following us from 7 p.m. tonight, Adrian Durham brings you Canada against Bosnia. Nigel Adderley is your commentator for that one, and he has the team news for us right now.
Yes, good evening, Rory. The big news for Canada, there is no Alphonso Davies in their team. The Bayern superstar, of course, carried his side throughout the previous World Cup, but he's had various injuries this season and is not fit enough to start. They'll be looking to Jonathan David, the Juventus striker, to really lead the side. Among the home-based players, as far as the UK are concerned, Liam Miller, Alistair Johnston and Luke de Figueroles. For Bosnia Herzegovina, there is no Edin Dzeko in the starting lineup. The 40-year-old will start on the bench. That's been his role during the recent qualifiers. So Ermin Demirovic, who scored a lot of goals for Stuttgart this season, will lead the attack for them. And the former Arsenal player, Sead Kolasinac, will be their captain. The opening ceremony is underway in Toronto. Michael Bublé will be on stage shortly, so it's beginning to feel a lot like Christmas already.
Lovely stuff. Thank you very much, Nigel Adderley. Now, up next, it is time for the End of Show quiz.
For you, Carl, obviously playing right back, you would have played against these 2 guys, and we don't quite know which one will start, and that's Anthony Gordon and Marcus Rashford on that left-hand side. Now, you've played against both. I'm not going to say which one's better, but what differences are there between the 2, and what makes both of them as good as they are? Obviously, Rashford being at Barca, Anthony Gordon just got the move to Barcelona. What are the differences between the 2?
I think that just says it there. There's not really much with one team signing them both,
yeah,
you know, and wanting to take them because they fit the personality that they want to play the game at. I think, listen, they're both extremely quick players, and they both got an eye for goal as well. The main thing is that I feel that in tournaments that I've played in previously to this, there's not been many other goals than Harry Kane, and that's what we need to find. And as having one of them on the pitch, you know, with Bakayoko or Noni on the other side, I think they need to bring some goals into it.
The fullback situation. Reece was a little bit more reserved last night than O'Reilly. O'Reilly, we know he's a midfielder that plays left back. He's an 8 that can be a 10. He's incredibly talented. I mean, you'll know all about him, right? Reece, I felt, was a little bit more structured to his game.
Yeah,
and maybe that's because of his hamstrings. Maybe they're managing that. I know at Chelsea they've had to manage that because there is some fragility in and around there. How important is that, though, that Nico Riley does that job on that side? Because his link-up play is exceptional. He really is a major talent.
I think you can't take that away from Nico. What he's done at Manchester City and arriving in the box in areas that you don't expect a left-back to get into just shows what he does offensively. But I think Reece James played a very intelligent game last night. You know, from watching it, he managed himself really well. You don't need to peak now. Reece James needs to peak in the knockout stages. Please God, England, get to...
Hello, I'm Matt Forden from talkSPORT. This is How to Win the World Cup.
This is the best squad I think England have ever had.
He used to love America, now he doesn't. It's very sad. It was so important to succeed because of all the pressure we received.
Don't jump for this one, I'm going to knock his head off.
Warning, this podcast does not guarantee England will actually win anything.
You are listening to World Cup Game Day live on talkSPORT with me, Rory Jennings and Darren Bent. Brought to you by Enterprise Rent-A-Car, here for it. Book now at enterprise.co.uk. Just quickly, Bernardo Silva is set to sign for Real Madrid, and Paris Saint-Germain could be set to try to sign Michael Olise from Bayern Munich this summer. Bayern Munich, if Bayern Munich allow Olise to go to Paris Saint-Germain are already the best team in the world. They're already that. Yeah. If they now add Michael Olise...
Down there, PSG.
Why not?
No, I don't think he will.
You don't reckon?
No.
Well, I don't know. I could see that one happening. And of course, at talkSPORT, we will keep you across it. Following us from 7 p.m, Adrian Durham hosts live coverage of Canada against Bosnia. Now, though, it's that time again. It's time for the final end-of-show quiz of this week. And it's producer Joe who's hosting. And Joe joins us in the studio now. How are you, Joe? Oh.
Joe's
jazzy.
Feeling it?
Oh, yeah. You don't know what we're doing yet.
Trying to cheat.
He does it every single time.
You've already grasped me up today, and now you're a cheat. Grass and a cheat.
What do you boys think of Billy going home 15 minutes early with a hangover?
I ain't got a problem with that.
Yeah.
Billy, so I've got a problem with it, but no, I haven't.
Yeah. Nah, Billy's the governor. Billy is the king of talkSPORT.
He is.
Absolutely love it. Yeah. Absolutely love it. What are we doing today, Joe?
Darren Bent is on commentary duties for talkSPORT tomorrow night, is it?
Correct.
Brazil
11 p.m. kickoff.
That's a late one, that.
Yeah.
Are you going to stay up?
Yeah, I'm fine. Pro plus, marsh.
You strike me as a man who's going to struggle to stay awake beyond about 10 p.m.
Nah, man, I'm there. Brazil, Morocco. Trust me, I'm there, bro. Red Bull. Thank you.
Being the professional man that he is, though, because he's doing Brazil versus Morocco, he decided to start learning Portuguese, so we thought we'd put it to the test.
That's impressive. You bilingual, Darren?
Yeah. No, listen. We're going
to find out.
We'll soon find out
now.
We've got, so...
We'll play that.
So Nick Ellaby, the newsreader here, he speaks fluent Portuguese, Brazilian Portuguese. So, Darren, he's put together a few phrases that you might be using this weekend.
Okay, cool.
When you do our commentary. And we're going to test you, and Rory, you're going to join in as well, just for the...
Who's first, me, Joe?
Yeah, Darren Bent, you're going first.
Thank you.
So have a listen to this one first.
Yep.
Aqui sou Darren. Sabia? Darren Bent.
You I think you're funny, innit?
What do you reckon?
It's always my catchprise. It's Darren here, by the way, Darren Bent.
Let's have a listen.
It's Darren here, by the way, Darren Bent.
He's good. Told you. Fluent.
You are bilingual. That was amazing. How did you possibly deduce what was going on there?
Possibly what?
Like you did well there.
Possibly deduce.
Yeah, you did.
He got that.
Yeah, mate, you can speak Portuguese, but the word deduce has done you.
Rory, you've got one as well. Let's have a listen.
Ele tem que converter dali.
So remember, these are things that he might commonly use during commentary.
That he might use during commentary. That there was Neymar is going to win the Golden Boot.
Now, do you know what? I think I know that. He might put that away.
Let's have a listen.
He's got to put that away.
DB!
Have you actually taken lessons?
I see. DB.
You did well there.
That is unbelievable.
I'll give you that. That's close enough.
You
They
get the
don't
point
understand
for
what
that.
you're saying.
You get the point. You did well there.
Thank
I didn't think you had that in you.
Thank you.
Darren Bent, your second one.
Para ser justo, foi legal.
Oh, that one there throwing me that. That was throwing me that. That is
Have a quick think.
I know what that is.
Can I get that again, Alex? Is that too much time?
Para ser justo, foi legal.
So Paris Saint-Germain.
I think Paris Saint-Germain.
Paris.
Even I'm going to help you.
I don't know.
That was nothing to do with Paris Saint-Germain.
Rory,
that was quite clearly, it's a game of two halves.
Let's have a listen.
It was all right, to be fair.
Are you going to see that? You come with all this energy and nothing.
Rory, we've got your second one there.
Okay.
Aquilo foi gol incrível.
That was Brazil are going to win their first tournament since 2002. That's what
a lot of words.
Trust me.
Darren Bent, do you want to guess at that before?
It's not that. I know that's what I'm saying. It's something to do with... Sorry, Alex, one more time, please.
Aquilo foi gol incrível.
That goal was incredible.
Let's have a listen.
That is an unbelievable goal.
Oh my God! You're actually good at this. No, do you know what?
Yeah.
I've come in with the wrong energy. I was coming in to mock you and think that you'd be rubbish at this. You're actually brilliant. Yeah. I've come in this.
I thought I was setting you up.
From the wrong angle. You're actually brilliant at this.
Duolingo.
We've got a minute.
Hey, that's Duolingo. Like that out.
We've got one more each for you. Darren Bent, here's yours.
Ele chutou uma bomba.
This is very hard. I've been informed. I don't speak Portuguese.
So
Bomba.
Go again now.
Ele chutou uma bomba.
Bomba.
Oh, I don't know.
That's push-up.
He shoots, he scores, I don't know.
Bomba.
That is a wonderful goal.
Let's have a listen.
He's walloped that.
Hey, I need that one.
And
I need that phrase.
finally, one more for you, Rory.
Okay.
O Neymar pode fazer a diferença nessa Copa ainda.
I don't know what that is.
There was very little between the two teams.
Really? No. Neymar. Sorry, I'll go again. Neymar could be the difference. Go again. Right.
O Neymar pode fazer a diferença nessa Copa ainda.
Neymar could be the difference. I don't know what the rest is.
It's not bad. Let's have a listen.
Neymar can still make a difference at this World Cup.
Yeah.
Darren Bent, you get a round of applause for me. I'm really annoyed. I totally misjudged you.
Yeah.
You know all this Brazil love? I thought that it was all built on sand. No. But it's actually...
I can still pick up a few words here and there.
Lovely work there from Joe Overall as well. Thank you very much. You've been listening to World Cup Game Day live with myself, Rory Jennings, and Darren Bent. Don't go anywhere, because next up it is Adrian Durham, and he will be bringing you live World Cup action as host Canada take on Bosnia.
Bomba.
First player up front I've gone for Neymar.
No, mate, honestly.
What do you mean? Don't start. I'm giving Neymar a free roll as well.
Mate, Neymar, the most overrated footballer of his generation. I'm not having it.
Conde, don't.
No, I'm not having it.
Don't,
no,
mate. I'm
not
a
having
big
it.
Neymar.
No, he
doesn't overrate.
He does. The most overrated footballer of his generation.
Oh my God. At Barca.
No, not having him. Not having him. Not having him. One. No, not having it. Nope. So that's the music stopped.
Conde, please,
no.
mate.
No, not Neymar.
Who's a better player? Neymar, Hazard.
R9. Oh, give me Hazard every day of the week, mate.
No.
Mate, give me. Is it? No, don't get me on the Neymar train.
Okay. R9's playing with him. R9's
take Neymar out.
But
no,
mate, come on. Neymar. Pace.
No.
Skill.
No.